This conference will now be recorded.
Begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone to the Marion County Commission meeting March 6th. We will begin with a work session on Park and Lake. Isaac has provided us with lots of background and documentation to answer all of those questions that are going to be coming. So Isaac, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a starting point here.
Good.
And kind of what we got here are our expenses. I tried to go back to 2017 just to keep it even kind of across the board with everything we got here. And so I just go ahead and get started and go over the bait shop reports. I'll tell the commission, it looks like 2021 here, you know, we didn't start, I think we started right there late June. We ran that through the end of the year, and we were right there at breaking even to start that. And that included all of our startup costs with the new point of sale system and everything there. Getting the propane and the ice chest and all of that stuff. Last year was our first, 2022, that was our first full year here. And on that report that I sent you guys, it says on the left-hand side will be our expenses with the vendors that we went through. And then on the right-hand side, where you can see there's a bunch of different categories. Those categories are how we break it out in our point of sale system. So there's bait, bass, boating, camping. That's what those stuff are just our categories of what our products in the store are under. So kind of gives us idea of what we're selling, how much we're selling of what, to kind of see different times a year, kind of what we need to focus on stocking, what we might not need to stock that time of year. So we ended up last year right under $5,500 profit. So, I mean, given our first full working year, that worked out pretty well. I know during the winter time we really do not purchase a whole lot. Some crappie stuff for the guys down at the heated dock, and really that's about it. 2023 here to start off, we had a purchase in January. Kind of getting things up and running for the year. So we have January and February so far for 2023, and we're just a little under right now, but I'm expecting that to pick up here once we start getting busy.
One thing to note is I sent you two separate emails. One was just a forward from Isaac, and on the 2023 bait shop it had expenses and income in later months after July, and so I realized that before I put it in the regular packet, and so that has actual year to dates on the regular
Go back to
packet.
the lake reports.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, when I sent that to Tina
Yep.
for an outline for 2023, I copied and pasted from 2022, and I hadn't erased all the data when I sent that over yet. She
so we
caught
should
that.
only be looking at January and February. That's our
January and
current.
February are the only 2 months that we have the full report.
And so what's in the actual commission packet should have nothing for the later months.
Right.
And
Unless I missed one.
I was gonna say, we really, for 2023 this year, I think we're gonna try to run it about identical as how we did last year. Nothing big or outstanding that's gonna be coming up. We'll try to kind of keep our walls filled, but nothing extra. I know we don't really keep any back stock in there. We just kind of buy as we need and go that way.
No, it looks like the bait shop's working really well.
Yeah, it's been, I know, there's been a lot of positive comments on it. Everybody that really comes out there and talks, they've all been super happy that it's back. And I mean, really, as far as any downside, it makes us busier, but that's not a bad thing.
I noticed you have a lot of firewood stacked up
do you sell that or do they just take it?
We sell it. We sell it, but we sell it pretty cheap. So normally, like what we do with our firewood, because all of that is stuff that we've cut down, and if it looks good, we cut it up. Really, we sell it. We sell like $5 for 10 pieces. And so I know, like, if you go out to the hardware store, I think they sell it like in a bundle. I think it's $6 for. Yeah. So we're pretty lenient on it because it's one of those things with where we're at.
We got an unlimited supply.
Yeah, and a lot of times we end up throwing a bunch of it in our burn pit that really we could use, but like if you go out to the office, I'm pretty much stacked up.
But you know, for camping and stuff, it really doesn't matter what kind of wood it is, as long as it's dry.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times too, even if like we have our whole office filled up, when we cut stuff up, if we're by a campground, we'll just cut pieces and stack a few up by our campfire rings. So that way when people come out,
that can be a revenue source if it's packaged up and bundled.
Yeah. But yeah, we do sell it. That's what we've done. It's just $5 for about 10 pieces. Are there any questions on the bait shop or concerns or anything there?
That you talked about getting batteries and stuff like that.
Yes.
Was there any call for high-end stuff?
So I haven't, and we looked at that, and I know that's been a possible option. I talked to Napa, and they said if we ever wanted to do it, we could. I really haven't had a lot of. I haven't. And that's one thing we've kind of held off on that. And I know like propane was another thing that we got, and the first year out there, it was super slow, but it does seem like and that's kind of a lot of it. I think as word starts getting out is, hey, yeah, they have it out there.
So people can
and so like the propanes, and we did, I mean, so far this year, I think we've already sold more propane in 2023 than we did all last year. And so it just kind of seems like that kind of thing, the word gets out that we have it. I don't know, we limited on, I guess, space in there to an extent, but
you can't be all things everywhere.
and that's it, yeah, and that's it. And it kind of seems like if we could ask for it, kind of the way that I've handled it is if we could ask for something, 2 or 3 times, it might be worth getting a couple of them and seeing how it goes. But as of now, we haven't done it, and I've been approached about like boat oil, and that kind of thing as well, to see if we want to stock that. But I've really never been asked for it. Tow ropes and some things like that for boating is something that we would get asked about quite a bit. But like the batteries, we don't have any in there yet right now.
Did they ever sell the fuel out there? There was never a gas pump out there. There was?
Yeah. And I think that turned, I don't know, but they had, because right there you can even see where the old pump used to sit. It's now covered up, and right there on the west side of the house or the office, there's the driveway. There's an old berm in the base, I think, where that fuel tank sat, if I'm correct. Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. You go to the marinas on these lakes, and back when we were buying car gas for $2.25 down there at Cheney, their gas pump was $5.95.
Well, and I'd be lying if I said I haven't had a lot of people ask me about it, but like I've told them, I don't know what that would all take to get into and being that close.
Yeah, a bunch of EPAs.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that drove us to get out of it.
That's what I talked to Dale about it, and that's kind of what
pump
he's.
and everything.
Yeah.
And being that close to water, I think there's a lot that goes into that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
So we know for sure where our tank's taken out.
This one that I'm thinking of is above ground.
Yeah, it was it was
above ground. I don't know.
Okay then. Good
Yeah, I don't know if there was ever.
Off record.
I don't know if there was anything underground.
We know nothing.
Yeah, we don't want it.
No, we're not getting into the fuel business.
Did you show any labor expense for any at all?
For the bait shop?
Yeah.
I didn't, and the main reason is because we actually have not had any additional help for that. And so really, I mean, between Adam and I in the office, we were there before the shop and we're there now, and so I don't have any on there.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it went down, because there was because we said we had to have labor for that place, so.
Right.
uh,
And it definitely takes time.
Yeah.
Need some more time for the holidays and weekend probably.
It would help.
I think you do have, don't you have in your budget?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But would they get in the way? I mean, there's not much room behind your desk.
Right.
For two people.
I think if somebody was in there,
We'd
for the most part, it'd probably be out in the truck or doing some other stuff. Yeah, because like you said, to have two people in there, it might be a little cramped. Is there anything else on the bait shop?
Looks like we're good. I'll move on to the next item.
Okay, so for the next item, if you guys can find it, should be the Evergy expenses or electrical expenses. So this report here focuses, and this is something I don't know if we can get changed. I haven't looked that far into it. This focuses strictly on the trailer park that we have out at the lake. So this will be our electrical. The county covers the electrical and the water for this trailer park. The water that we have is a set flat fee for the entire park and lake, so that's, I don't know if that could ever be broken out, but it's one of those things, we don't know where the water's going or how much it's going where. It's just a set gallon fee that we're charged. But for the electrical expenses here, on the bottom of that Excel sheet, there should be tabs that go back to 2017.
And in your packet, it's just, you've got a page for each year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran pretty steady at 18,000 until last year. And went up to
And
44.
yeah. So I'll say, I mean, we sat 17 was 18,000. 18 we ended up at 19. 19 we were down to 17. 20 we were at 18. 21, 18, and then 22 went up to 21. So last year we saw our first real big jump. We kind of sat between 17, 18, 19, and then last year we were up to 21. The way that this is broken out is that trailer park is plotted. And so you can see on the top it has plot 1 through 8. There is no plot 4. I don't know what happened to plot 4, but there's just not one. And I know looking at the meters, I haven't figured out what plot goes to what meters, but I do know that some of these have more trailers on them than others. And so it's broken out here, and like I said, 2022, we had that $3,000 increase. And I do think a lot of that has to do with the fact that for the first time, every single one of those trailers is being used.
Gotcha.
I know, like when I started, there were constantly 3 or 4 for sale, and a couple of them that weren't for sale, but nobody ever came up and used them. It does seem like with the housing market and everything else, these things have been a hot commodity. And with that, the price that they're selling for, everything has just been going up and up and up. I don't know if 100% of that increase is usage and people being out there, but I will say all of them are.
Didn't Evergy have a rate increase last year?
See, I think
This year.
This year.
So you plot 5, you don't know how many trailers on it, I mean, because it's.
So plot 5 is the biggest. I do know that. I think if I remember right, we have a total of 57 trailers. And if I remember right, plot 5 had 7 on them. And those 7 are, what do I want to say?
The biggest ones?
No, but are every weekenders. They're a group of trailer owners that are up pretty much every single weekend throughout the summer. And that's the other thing is, a lot of the trailer owners, they might come up once a month. Some of them come up once every other week. Some of them are up every weekend without fail from the opening of season to the end of the season. And so all of that kind of plays a factor. And I do think with those selling and new buyers coming in, that's the other thing is that if you drive by the trailer park throughout a weekend over the summer, there's a lot more vehicles there now than there were 3-4 years
So
ago.
we're paying for electricity?
We are paying for
We
electricity.
can't charge,
It's the way that
built into the lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the way that it's working now, the county covers electricity and water, they pay the $1,200 a year.
What, five, you know, to get
Yeah, yeah, it-
$100 a month then.
It does.
There's 7 trailers on there.
So if you take your total bill for the whole year and divide it by 57 trailers.
Yep.
That's $382.59 a year.
For a trailer.
Right.
Right, for the whole year. And how many months can they actually be out there?
So the season it opens up March 1st and it runs till November 1st.
So it's 8 months.
8 months.
So if we divide that by 8, 59 divided by 8, their monthly average is about $48 a month.
For electrical.
For electrical,
Okay.
if that's helpful. But we still pay electricity in the winter?
We do.
Okay.
We do pay electricity during the winter too. Yes, we do.
So we would probably have to do it by the whole.
Water itself, I mean, we pay that flat water fee, but it's shut off. The water is shut off to the trailer park during the winter. But
But we still pay.
we pay a.
It's per year.
It's for the entire lake, so it's not just for the
Oh,
trip.
yeah.
It's the house, the hall, the shop, the campgrounds, the bathroom, everything. Is that flat fee for our water and sewer bill.
It's the same every year?
Well, it has been, but it increased this year.
Okay.
So, and that's gonna be coming up here, but yeah, that has been it's been the exact same price every year. Our monthly bill is the exact same for water and sewer.
But you can look at it and see that your June, July, and August.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
September sometimes then tapers off in October.
Yes.
That's your 4 hot months, and that's where your electricity goes for air
Yes.
conditioning and stuff like that. That's the.
Yeah, the off-season typically, I mean, the way that we've normally tried to keep it around, and it looks like last year we were closed, it's kind of changed throughout the year, but normally during the off-season, if we can have it at 1,000 or below, we're doing pretty good. And I mean, it's been kind of all over the board. If you look through October, sometimes it's high.
Are we changing the type of campers that we're having in those houses? Because what I've seen for 30-some years, there was a lot of very conservative campers out there in the trailers. And I'm just asking, do we feel that there's more stuff left on when we leave? I mean, you can see whether there's lights coming on in them of a night, whether there's, that kind of stuff.
So, and I'll tell you, that's been something that we've dealt with really the last 2 years, and I don't know if a lot of that's people moving older, people that have been out there for a long time moving out and getting new people in, but we have had issues, because I mean, and according to this lease agreement, it's gotta be shut down.
Yeah.
And so we've had ran into ACs being left on when people leave, and all of that is addressed in here. And so what we've started doing is when Monday rolls around, we'll go around and a couple times throughout the day and try to check and see if those ACs are left on or if lights are left on. Contact the owner, and sometimes they'll say, yeah, you can go in, because we have keys to a lot of them and shut them off. But that is something that we've been trying to keep track of and make sure that it's not left on, because you have a AC left on for the course of a week.
Seems like at the time I was watching, it seemed like about every 5 to 7 years was a rollover of just a roll of change of
Yeah.
owners,
Yeah.
except for the ones, some of them been out there for 20, 30 years
Yeah.
too. But I mean, there was a rollover. I just called it a rollover.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, and maybe they get tired of it and move on.
Yep.
Things happen.
But yeah, that is something that we've been trying to keep an eye on for that exact reason. Is especially it's the AC units that get left on when people leave. Yep.
But you don't do it at the house. I mean, some people don't do it at their house.
Right.
But when they don't have to pay the electric bill.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm running into.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see
You
that.
say we have keys to some of them, we don't have keys to all of them?
Well, I have keys to probably 95%.
Okay.
And right now there is no rule that I have to have a key. Now, that was something that was gonna be brought up here in case of emergencies or whatever the
I think it'd be
situation
wise
is.
to have a key for every trailer.
I know most of them want us to have a key in
Right.
case something ever happens.
Oh, yeah.
But I do not have every single trailer. I probably have about 90% of them.
A couple times I found stoves, 2 times I found
I
cook
think it'd
stoves.
be wise to have a policy where they have to have a
Spare key.
The gas bill was up because of the cook stove on.
On.
And so, both times I was able to go in, it wasn't you, but it was Dale at that time, and go in, able to go get a key, and get
Yeah.
in and shut it off, and then we call the owner. They was very appreciative of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they want
You couldn't still burn it.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions on that?
Okay, so this is the.
This is for the trailer park
Trailers.
only.
And that's, the agreement that's in our packet is the trailer agreement.
Correct. Which I have here, which we can go over. I think
Do you wanna do that now?
You wanna go over this now?
Is that?
Trailer lease, trailer
While
lease.
we're talking about it?
Yeah, any changes you think are necessary, we should just. go through
So
that.
one thing would be to put in a clause that everybody has to give you a key.
A key.
Right?
If that is
that.
it.
I think that's wise.
I agree.
And we have just so you guys know, what we have is a safe lock box
Mhm.
with all those keys marked, and they're all, it doesn't say their address on the keys, it's coded in a way to where if you
Right.
don't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't be able to tell what key goes where.
Right, I think
And
that's a
that's
good-
how we,
good
that's how
policy.
we run that.
So would you keep a tally of changes to give to Brad?
I definitely can do that.
So number one, let's add a clause in there that you have a key.
Okay.
Okay.
So, honestly, I think this thing has been a while since it's been updated. I really don't have a problem with the majority of this at all. I will say, here in the last 3 years, a lot of this stuff that I'm gonna talk about has been brought to me by trailer owners that I don't necessarily disagree with. The first thing is on the, looks like number 20 here will be the shed size. So, and I'll tell you, every lot out there is a little different as far as size goes and what's, I guess, available. And with that, a lot of the trailers that are out there are different sizes. So some of them have more room, some of them have less room. Well, the big concern now, I guess not really concern, but the big thing that people have been talking about is there's a rule in here about boats. If you have a boat, you cannot leave it left on your lot. Well, now with the golf cart side-by-sides, a lot of people have those and they're not able to get it in their 8x10 shed, so they have that golf cart sitting out in front of their trailer. And so a lot of the boat owners are saying, how can they do that? We can't do it with our boat. And so on that side of it, a lot of the trailer owners have been coming to me asking if it fits on their lot, if they could get a shed, you know, maybe 10x12, that they could pull that cart into. And so that's been something, and like I said, some lots can't, and I don't know, you know, I know when this was probably written, those 8x10 metal sheds was probably what there was. A lot of them now are wanting to move to those wooden sturdy built sheds or Dirksen sheds.
Right.
The main thing is nothing's permanent regardless of what size, but you know, a lot of them have been saying we have room to fit this shed, we could get all of our stuff inside the shed. Would it be possible to possibly get a bigger shed than this 8x10? We've been telling them to hold off until we could get this addressed. But and that's the main reason is now that the golf carts and the side-by-sides have become so popular. They want them to be able to park them inside the shed during the summer instead of having to haul them back every weekend or leaving them sitting on the yard, which is something we've let them do, but I don't disagree with the argument of them doing that compared to a boat. And so that's kind of where it's gotten interesting. I don't know if you know where that rule was put in place to try to keep it fair. I mean, cause it is, there are some trailers that could not hold anything bigger than an 8x10, but some of them can. I don't know if we want to do something by a case-by-case basis,
Would have to
depending
be
on.
each one approved.
Well, and that's how it is now. If they want, even if they're switching to another shed the exact same size, they still come, we look at kind of what they're wanting to do for a shed, you know, and take it from there, but.
If you go back up to the top of the page there and you look at the rules up there, it says this, number one statements up there says this is a weekend camping spot. It's not for summer homes, that. And what do you want to see out there? It's about like, if you want to limit, or if you want to turn loose of every dock out there, and everybody in the Marion County Lake and Park have a dock, what you're going to see is shoreline looks like the Ozarks. And I think that's what you're going to see if you do something up here for the golf carts, for the side-by-sides, and allow a shed, because there's not 10 feet between some of the trailers.
And that's correct. There's not.
And that's,
Well, and there's the clause, the small building 8x10 may be erected, in some cases, depending on the size of the trailer, in conjunction with limited lot size, the building may have to be smaller.
Yeah.
So it's just that you're allowing up to 8x10s now.
Yeah, and I know
It does
what-
not mean it fits.
I know what he's
It
bringing
would.
to us now is the convenience factor for those. So what if Marion County put in a rent shed? Set of sheds somewhere that, for the trailer park that we rented out. I mean, that's maintenance, but I'm seeing convenience here is what we're fighting, and you're trying to put convenience in this trailer park, and you just drive through there and
Yeah,
look.
it's
Well-
too tight.
It's,
So then that would allow boats or side-by-side.
Or something.
Whatever, they
Or
rent
something
that
to
space,
that.
they can put whatever in there. It's like a mini storage.
You had a facial expression in response to
Well-
that, Patsy. What's your thought?
I've thought about that a lot,
Okay.
and it'd be finding a spot, but I do think it would be full in a week. I think, and which will be later brought up in here, but like our storage spot outside, our outside storage as it is, I have a waiting list of about 40 people. And so, yeah, I mean, storage is something it's a super hot topic. I mean, for the trailer owners and the homeowners out there, because there's really not a lot of property out there that has a bunch of room. There's a few, but there's not a lot that have a bunch of have garages and all that stuff.
The only place you got is on the south side.
Well, and so, you know, the thought of the storage building, we talked about, I mean, because we've talked about looking into it because of how many people have asked about their golf carts or their boats and things like that. We could, I don't know, there's a couple of areas that we've looked at, just to think about, but I do think it's something that would be very, very popular, and I think it would be full.
What's to the
It'd be full
west of the heated
year
dock?
round.
From
Huh?
What's
first
to the
day.
west of the heated dock besides the bathroom?
Then
Nothing.
they'd say, why didn't you make it bigger?
Nothing, and even on the storage, so the storage area we have now, kind of where the house is, just to it'd be straight south of there, there's a hill that we now have a row of outdoor storage on, but it's just nothing but a big grass row. And there's a little road that goes right up to it. I think it'd be a great spot.
That'd be
South of the
handy
house.
for the trailers.
Sat right south of the house, yeah.
Okay, I'm just addressing us trying to take care of our people versus us trying to beat competition out. That's what I'm trying to address here. I do know that the rental shed place right up the road has a lot of lake owners, both residents of the homeowners of the lake, plus trailer owners,
There's several boats up there,
and has that up there.
but it's full.
Yeah, it is,
Well, I don't know that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I know it was good for Roger Fleming, who used
Yeah.
to sit here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the county was to do something, whether we would address it just for lake owners, just for our own needs, and not trying to hurt the public side of this world. But I don't know, I'm just throwing things out, what we might do to,
You
but
don't,
I'm
you
not.
don't wanna go in competition with the public.
No, I don't want to.
And I know like what you're saying there, and that's kind of the big thing that I've gotten from a lot of people is there is no storage spots that are open, from that Fleming's building. I guess I'm talking to them, they have a waiting list like I do.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of them have been going out to the reservoir and putting them out there, but from now what I understand, they're full too. There's that storage building right there by the bait shop out there at the reservoir.
The green buildings.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, our outdoor storage, it's full and it's full constantly. And as soon as one of those spots empties up, we go down our list and call the next person in line, and they're in there for however long they're in there.
That's right, the white side, not the white sides, not the white side.
I don't know what it's called.
Oh, I know the people that put them in, but anyway, and they was a little shy the first few years, but it's picked up and filled them
Oh,
up.
they've added buildings now.
And added other rows and stuff like that, so I don't know. I would like to try taking care of the public, not the public, but the people that's out in the lake.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, kind of where I've been on it is with the golf carts and everything like that, I personally would rather see them in a shed than out sitting in a yard, just for appearance.
It will disappear.
Right, well, and that too, I guess, but, you know, when you drive by, having all that stuff sit out there, I don't want to say it's an eyesore, but it'd look a whole lot nicer if that was, you know, if they were put up.
Looks like Missouri.
Yeah, during the
Well,
week or
especially when
whatever.
they're
So-
gone for the week, I mean.
Yeah,
they're- During the weekend,
yeah.
they're using it, then during the week, they go in the
So,
shed.
yeah, right.
Yeah, but the part-timers or the trailer people, do they just leave that stuff out there and take it home with them?
Well, and that's right now, some of them have been leaving them out there.
Just
They'll
out in the
put,
open?
they got a cover on them, they'll park them up next to the trailer, cover them, and leave them like that. Some of them do haul them back and forth as they come and go. It kind of depends, but, you know, a lot of them.
Then you got the trailer parked across the road.
Well, you got a truck and a trailer parked there.
The whole north end of the trailer park becomes a trailer park
Parking
for
spot.
boat trailers, other little trailers for side-by-sides and things like
It's
that.
on the east
yeah.
side of the road, across
Yeah.
from the trailer.
That's interesting. Do we have enough revenue off of the lake to invest? Off of the camping part of it, to invest for that?
For a storage building?
For storage?
Well, the revenue would come from the rental.
You just
It
charge
should be
$100 a month.
self-supporting.
Do what?
It'll be self-supporting, there should be.
Should be.
I mean, you're gonna have your initial cost to build.
Yeah.
then-
How many, you said 57?
Trailers.
57 trailers?
Yeah.
You have to build something that had 60 bays in it?
Well, right now, and I know right now, like our outdoor storage too, we have 35. We have 35 spots on that outdoor storage, and yeah. like I said-
Are we charging for that?
But I mean,
Yeah.
Is it in here?
Well, it is
Saying if you got to-
15 a month. But it
15
is-
a month.
Yeah, it
if
is.
you got
out-
to 60,
cheap.
then you could
Yeah.
double, instead of not competing with a private, you could double your lot fee, and that just goes with
Storage spot.
one trailer goes with one bay, one trailer, one bay, and then that comes with their package.
It's another idea.
Yeah.
And then you're not charging for storage, it's just part of your package.
But you basically rent $1,200 a month.
Yeah,
No.
a year.
A year.
A year, I mean, yeah,
Year.
let's get on that.
But-
That's $100 a month.
Yeah, somewhere.
You could float it, I mean, you'd need to feel that out.
Yeah.
Before,
Right.
some people are like, well, I don't have a boat or
Yeah.
a side by
Right.
side, I don't want
I had
that.
a few people say, we just come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Which they're definitely.
And then others have it side by side in two boats.
They
and-
could sublease it to somebody else.
And the size of the shed, to me, the storage unit would be just wide enough for a boat, and maybe do you make it deep enough, 24 feet, do you make it to put a side-by-side in there, or golf cart or whatever too, I don't know. But
Well-
I would design it for,
The boat hitches right behind my side by side, and you could back the whole thing in.
Would you just leave it, a shed like open-sided?
no, I'd pretty, well, that's pretty have to close it.
Might as well close it, I mean.
Yeah.
Like a loafing shed?
And I,
Closed
yeah,
a lot.
and I would make it metal, I mean, I wouldn't build it out of wood. I wouldn't. wouldn't do anything out of wood, because maintenance on wood is, so, that's just, but
You're
it's,
not-
I
you're not
think I
talking
like
about-
your idea of
We're
doing
not
that.
talking about a tall building either, so that's gonna cut cost.
Yes, yeah, nothing tall.
The storage buildings come in kits, so you
Yeah.
just pick what you want and then make the kit.
Well, you still need a 12-foot door to get some boats in. Some of them don't fit in the 8-foot door high,
Yeah, some of these boats are big.
but tall. I just,
Yeah.
you know, a pontoon boat wouldn't fit in a regular,
No.
it's gotta be an oversized garage.
Yeah.
Almost need 3 different sizes. One's for
But
just
then,
a.
but then what goes with what trailer?
It's
It's gotta be,
Oh,
it's
we
gotta
got-
be standard.
We sold our ski boat, we got a big pontoon now, won't fit.
Yeah.
I like, what you said though, is to put out a feeler here and see.
Do a
what they-
survey,
what-
yeah.
What the survey of our landowner, or trailer owners, and see what we get back. And it would be, it'd be in the package. and-
But you could potentially do different sizes and then they just choose,
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be number one goes with number
Right,
one.
right,
and-
right.
I mean, it would
They
be,
choose.
we have this many of this size.
Yeah.
And once they're gone,
Yeah.
Wrong.
Well, this is the
Yeah.
I mean, making different prices too.
right,
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, because I know, and you know, like, with this, and that was kind of the big, I guess, argument, if you want to call it an argument, is they're required to take care of their own yards too, so they have their lawnmower in their shed. They can't fit anything else in an 8x10 shed once the lawnmower's in there. And so that's kind of where this whole thing came up, is we have all this stuff, and yeah, we could haul our mower back and forth every weekend, but we don't want to do
But it
that.
also hasn't addressed yet, if you see in the rules there, I don't know, the porches on these trailers.
Yep, yep.
They're getting more and more of them out there, get bigger and bigger, because they like a porch party.
Yep.
And.
That was my next question.
Oh.
I should have taken some
But what-
pictures of the one I went by up north.
But what I'm.
So the decks are bigger than the house?
Oh, the decks are way bigger than
Yeah.
that.
But what I'm saying though is, that's why I can't agree with trying to put a shed on these lots too, is because of the porch parties that I see out there. Porch is a second living place for them on the weekends out there. And I too like to go out and sell, so.
Okay, well, let's wrap up the storage building and then we'll move to the porches. So, how does the commission want to proceed? Do you want to have Isaac kind of do a poll, survey?
Yeah, but this would be a project for 2024.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah, we're already at 23.
they have, and it, we can do it however, but I know that they've started a group out there and they meet twice a year, so, and like every Memorial
Oh,
weekend and
okay.
every Labor Day weekend, I go and talk to
You
them.
could go talk to them and get a
Yeah,
feeling.
and so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could definitely do
Because it could be
something like that.
just, you know, the idea of a storage building committed to the trailer group, whether it be included with the package or whether it be
One way or the other.
yeah, or whether it be separate where they could, if all they have is a mower and a side-by-side, they can pay so much for that. If they have a pontoon
They
boat,
get
then
10
they
by
would.
10, you know.
I still think we have to keep a sort of a general rule of thumb for sheds and general rule of thumb for decks on there, or you're gonna have the.
But I guess what I'm saying with this poll, then we leave the size of the sheds the way it is currently in them.
Yeah.
Then hopefully this would then address, and that would address both the boat issue and the other
Size,
issue.
size.
But there's some opportunities.
I like it where he's located, where he's talking about there, because there's been things sat there for years, it just never even collected money, we just let them sit there, and it just sort of, it's been a dead space there.
Still a bunch of junk down there, isn't
Give-
it?
give
Well,
them
there are
one
still
camper.
those two, everybody's paying, but there are still those two
There's
that are
two.
sitting out there. Yeah.
You haven't hauled them off yet.
No, I'd love to.
Has that person give you any authority to do something though?
Okay, we'll bring that up again. But just to be clear on the direction we're giving Isaac, this is
Hold on to
for-
this size ship.
Yep, but if we're looking at a storage building, it's to be focused on the trailer part,
Right.
not open to,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important when the public start asking questions while you're building a shed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
they're gonna
specifically
come in and say,
for-
put my name on the list.
Right, right.
Well,
It's
and
specifically-
I think if we did that
I
up
think the
there,
trailers are selling
kind of
hot.
Yeah.
you could,
You mean
you
I
could
can't
still
get
kind of
storage
take
not
care
in
of
the trailer?
both parties, because then we could it would get rid of some of our outdoor storage that we have up there right now, but we could still provide that outdoor storage as we are now for everybody else, kind of like we are. Just it would just get rid of some of it that would be up on that hill that we would then replace with the indoor storage.
Right.
And would you let trailer people sublease their,
That's a good
to
question.
somebody else if they didn't want to use it? I mean.
No.
Well, that's where it comes back to then separating it from the lease
Okay,
agreement.
well,
I mean, that's somewhere between there's the trade-off.
You get in a lot of trouble when people start subleasing.
Well, and that's the same like with this with the
Like the
trailer
docks.
park itself.
Yeah,
That
The docks, they had to live here once, well, they bought the dock, and then they sold the house, and now they don't even live here.
Yep.
But they still have the
Still got
dock.
the dock. Okay, I think we got a direction on that.
Okay.
The storage building. Now let's talk about porches and decks.
Yeah, so that was that was the next question.
What number you on?
17.
17, yeah, there we go.
8 by 14.
And it all goes back to the same thing as well, is all those trailers are different sizes. And there's some people that have smaller trailers that said, you know, you have your main door on the left side of the trailer, then you have an auxiliary exit door on the right side of the trailer, and they have their 14 by 8 deck, and then they have about a 3-foot gap, and then they have another little 4 by 6, and they say, can't we just connect these? You know, because there's that little gap right there in between their deck that's 14 by 6, and then their 4 by 6 pad on their auxiliary door, and they just would rather just have one. And you know, and it's one of those things. On some of the trailers, it would work and it would fit and it wouldn't cram anything.
And that's how it would.
But yeah, and then you know, it's one of those things. It would make some of the lots way more valuable than other lots because of the size. And I don't know what the.
You got to check with superintendent.
He's mentioned this twice, and I stopped and looked at the trailer on the south end, on the west side.
Far side.
On Pine Road.
Yep.
Did I see 59 or 69,000?
60,000.
60,000. I thought I did. I
Yes.
looked, stopped and looked at it, so that's
For the trailer?
way above what,
Yes.
where, it's very nice, very clean, got a lot to it. It's not that big a trailer, but it's very clean. Yeah, very nice. But the selling price, so,
Well, and
what
that's-
you said.
Yeah, I know, you know, they used to go, it seemed like on average they were going for 13 to 17,000. Now you don't see them for sale for under 30. Most of them have been going
And
for
a lot of them,
30.
they get bought for 30 and then they haul it out. Bring a nice new one in.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're just,
But that's okay.
yeah.
I mean, it's improving.
Beach driving to the Ozarks every weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And so yeah, that was the that's kind of the next thing that gets brought up to me a lot is, well, we have room for it. Why can't we just connect the two with an extra 2 foot of decking? But you know, and then kind of from my perspective, as you say yes, you know.
Ooh.
Then, well, if we said yes, yeah, then the next one's going to come in and say, well, they're
it's
doing
only
so
6 feet,
right,
jump.
right.
Then
And
10.
and some of them, if they had the full-size deck on, their deck would be rubbing the trailer next to them. You know, some of them could have the full-size deck and they still got another 10 foot between them and the next trailer. And so that's kind of it.
But if you hang on to that.
It's hard to compare everything as the same because the lots and the trailers are so different on each lot.
Well, if you hang on to the 8 foot wide maximum, and then you gave them 140 square feet. So if they just needed to connect the two, well, you don't go out 8 feet,
Narrow.
you go a 7 feet.
7
and then it
foot,
gives you,
you go
then you
longer.
give them 140 square feet.
However they want to do it.
That's what we do with building signs. I mean, yeah, you can make them longer, taller, which way, but you.
You got square feet.
You got square
Limited
footage.
Square feet.
And I know that's how the docks are out there right now. You have so many square foot, that's your maximum. You can do that how you want.
It actually comes out to 136, but
Yeah.
I figured 140
Is that what it comes out to?
currently with the 2 decks, the 4 foot by 6 and the 8 foot by 14. You add those 2 together, say
Can you
that's.
put a limitation on how much space would be left between you would be limited by how much space is between
The next trailer.
the next trailer and.
Yeah, you could go that route too. You could say that you
Do
gotta
all
maintain
that,
it.
but
You gotta have a
also-
setback.
Yeah.
Also put a setback on
Gotta have a 2-foot setback.
Like I said, some of those will end up about touching the neighbor.
Well,
if
some
we
of
bought
the-
2 trailers, you just build 2 decks together.
Some of the trailers are backed in, you know, dead center of the
112.
lot, some of them are on the right side of the lot, some of them are on the left side of the lot, so that.
Plus
it
4
changes.
4x6.
That's for the others, that's for the other.
The other door that they're
The other
wanting to
Doorway,
connect.
yeah.
For the other door.
yeah.
Just put in a total, not to exceed.
Yeah.
And I know
So
some of them
that
don't
gives you
have any kind of
flexibility.
platform deck on that door, they just have a stairway up to it and that's it, there is no, but some of them do have that little platform.
But then they could have a bigger deck when they don't, when all they have is a stairway.
Right, just,
It's what your preference. Use your 140, however you see fit.
You
Gotta
can't
take care of
exceed the 8-foot width and can't be
Or-
within so far.
8 feet to the other trailer or whatever your easement is.
Maximum of 8 foot, maximum, you don't have a maximum long, but you may have to set a maximum wide though, because of the space out there.
Well, Jonah just said keep the 8-foot
Max.
maximum.
Kick over
And
those
then you have
property line.
a cap of 140 square feet. I like that.
To take care of 2 doors.
Yeah, or you could,
So you can split it up.
if you had 140, 3 foot, I mean, you could have a 4-foot deck that ran a long ways.
Which one seems to be the biggest issue there? There's, when he's talking older trailers, which most of them, a lot of them's gone now since I haven't really been out there in the last 4 or 5 years reading meters every day, but, some of the trailers are 2 doors on one side, and the other is
Yeah.
1 door on one side, and the other door's on the other side.
Yeah.
And that person, when they wanna get out of that door, we've got to take care of that person too, and yet not be into this other trailer right beside it's a problem.
Yeah, so you gotta have an easement off the other trailer,
Off the
like
side.
Yeah.
I think Tina said.
Yeah.
You gotta have some kind of
clearance,
setback.
yeah.
And would you wanna put the specific, like the drawing would have to be pre-approved by the
Oh, yeah.
county?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before,
And that's kinda, I don't think, yeah, check with the superintendent before building each platform. I know like when they've changed anything, that's always been, before you do anything, come and
Right.
talk to us
That just
first.
needs to be the standard.
Yeah, regardless of what it is.
Right.
And you would have to take their drawing and go to their lot and
And
check
look
it
at
and
everything,
see how
yeah.
all it works then. I like the drawing deal part of it, just it don't have to be a professional art drawing, but.
no,
And the
but yeah,
law.
something on paper
Yes.
that you could sign or initial or
Yes,
something.
yes.
Right.
About like a building permit, I mean, about what it is.
Leaving the long length of each platform shall be parallel to the length of the trailer. I mean, so that way they're not building a dock to the next house.
Like 3 and then connect
Yeah.
the
Two
wall.
trailer
And
owners
then-
know each other and connect them.
Well,
yeah.
they've got brothers been side by
Oh, yeah,
side,
yeah, there are.
son and daughter, or mother and
Well,
father and
they each got
son.
a deck they could meet in the middle.
Well, that's.
If the trailer's.
Put a
put
swing
in there.
gate.
Tell
swing gate
the
on.
fireman has to go there.
Yeah.
Remember, you gotta
Or one
take
of
care of
them
yourself
moves
for
out,
fire.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm willing to investigate this and see what we can do, the maximum square feet, and see. That's another issue you might discuss at the meeting
Definitely can do that.
that we're interested in.
And then they could have people that have that door on the other side, and then the one on the one side. That would allow them to build a bigger deck by just putting a stairway out the other side.
Yeah.
You know, it gives them option to,
Well, they need the access stairs, they need that for fire. But, they don't need another deck.
so then they would actually benefit by not having the door on the same side.
Yeah.
Because then they instead of having an option to build a 4-foot by 6-foot on that side, they get it added into the other one.
You may have to cut out 4 foot by 6 foot, that's probably plenty, I mean, for an exit ramp out of some of them.
Any other issues on the decks and porches? If not, I think we got it.
That doesn't mess with any of the utilities.
Should not. No, because I know when, well,
You gotta dig safe in there to be contacted.
yeah, and I know almost all the utilities, well, depending on where you're at in the park, where they redid where they redid the water lines here a couple of years ago, they actually buried their water lines. They're in a pit out front, and all the older ones, it could interfere with a couple of them, the water hydrants, but most of the water hydrants are backed by the electrical boxes behind the trailers. So, but there is a row where they might have to work around the water hydrant, but regardless, anytime anything like this is done, we always try to call dig safe.
But for leaks and things, you
Gotta
gotta
have
have,
it.
got to have access to that
Yeah.
water pit.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just
Yeah,
got to have
absolutely.
access to it,
Yeah.
so whatever you do, I think there maybe needs to be something so that they know that a water meter pit may hinder their project.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's, probably falls in some code requirement that you can't build over it.
On top
Common
of,
sense,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah, well, if there's already a restriction, and you don't have to add it, extra language, you can just point to it and be like, building code, you can't do it.
Okay. What else did you have on trailers?
So as far as any big things, those were the two that I'm always been getting hit up about. But besides that, you know, on the back page, just kind of be clear so everybody knows the way that we run this, $1,200 a year. And then if you go to that very last page here, there are a certain appliances that change the cost of their rent. So if they have a washing machine, dryer, range oven, water heater, dishwasher, or space heater that are electric, that adds an additional $25 a year on. So there are certain things that if they do have, it's additional. And I know a lot of times these trailers switch over hands. Normally, well, every time they switch, we go in there, go over everything the past owner had, try to see if they want to keep that, if they're going to change anything, whatever the case is. Maybe we should start doing annual inspections, but that's the way we run this. So some of these trailer owners are spending a little over $1,200 a year, but
What do you see? How many's doing what there? Washing machine, dryer?
washing machine and washing machines, a lot of them. We have a lot of them that have actually recently switched over to the water heater as well, electric water heater. There's quite a few of them out there that are now doing that. Quite a few used to have dishwashers, but that's one thing that we've kind of been seeing as people have been buying them, they've been getting rid of them. And then the space heater thing, there's a few, but not very many have the space heaters in them, just because a lot of them don't worry about coming up if it's gonna be cold. So, but there's definitely a few.
And run a water heater for $25 a year. Electric. I mean, I see
Yeah,
that.
$25 a month.
Definitely.
I see that and a dryer as the two top users of electricity there.
Well, range, they have a range.
Yeah.
And I don't know to know what percentage, because if they can hook up to gas, but if they hook up to gas, that is their expense. That is not our
Yeah,
expense.
it's only electrical ranges.
Correct. But I'm not sure what the percentage would be on those hooked up to gas to those not hooked up to gas.
Some people like to
I
have
do-
the cooker.
I do know that there are quite a few hooked up, but as far as what percentage that is,
Put your barbecue grill outside, the stove
yeah,
inside.
yeah.
I prefer the gas, but a lot of these guys are going to induction heat. So that's electric, going back to electric.
Yeah.
So would you like to adjust the rates for electric appliances?
I'd just like everybody to think about it real quick, like, to see if there's any extra.
Go from 25 to 35.
Well, the biggest user there, electricity is what, dryer?
Range. Range
Range
water
is
heater.
more than dryer.
Range is a 50 amp. Dryer's a 30, water heater's a 20.
So those are your
But
top
it's used,
three.
but it's used more of the cooking.
Water heater could be a single pole 30, I guess. Dryer's a 220, 30, so twice as much.
Yes. Okay, and they understand that they have to be shut off when they're not
when they're not there, yep. And it's the same with like the water, so if they're not there, the hose that hooks up to their hydrant, to their trailer has to be undone.
But you don't know on the water heater whether it's sitting there in electric, you don't know whether it's still sitting there ginning
No.
all winter. Well, it's, the water's disconnected.
Water's disconnected during the winter.
Yeah, but the heater's still got water in it
During the summer.
Yeah.
That's the-
Yeah,
Well, they bleed them out most of the time.
most of the time.
Most of the time.
But, like I say, a 25 isn't enough.
It's not.
I'm trying to think of the cost it would take care of all that.
Right.
Instead of 50 here, 25 here, 35 here, 25 there, I don't know what,
Yeah.
I don't know whether.
Well, and that's.
And this is a
you got
yearly?
your-
Yeah, that's yearly, that's not monthly, so it's not 25 additional a month, it's 25 additional a
So you
year,
put-
so you're really talking $2, you know.
If you have
$2.
one of these items, it's gonna be $50 more a year. If you have 4 or 5, you're gonna be a winner.
But look at your usage over here on trailers, that you see that January, February,
Yeah.
November, December, and sometimes October, you know, is usually, and maybe even into March sometimes. There's about 5 months, it's pretty slack. I mean, it backs off, and so I'm trying to give them benefit of the doubt when they use it, when they don't use
I mean, could you just charge a flat fee for electrical appliances? If you have 1 of 6, make it simple.
And then I get abused, it'll go the other way.
Yeah, it's probably better to keep it per,
Because then they'll buy everything electrical. Load it down.
Pay one fee.
It's a good policy if you just figure out if we stay up with it. I mean, that's a.
And I can figure out exactly what that is, how many people have what. I have all that information. I did not bring that with me. But how many trailers have, how many additional appliances. I mean, I could go through and figure that out as well. Who has what, how much of each of these we have that are currently being paid for out
Be
there.
interesting. I hate to give
seems
you
like
that
a lot.
task, but yet it would be interesting to see.
now the other thing
Yeah.
is your trailer owner goes by your cost of electricity versus your cost of gas. Well, now gas has gone
Up.
it's really gone up, so if your rental, which includes electricity, well, I think the shift would be, and you said, water heaters are going to electric.
Yeah, a lot of them have
We
been,
raise
yeah.
this up, then it kind of balances that out a little bit.
Okay.
We need to look at the appliances, and then we need to look at the overall rent.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
And then we need to do our balance between those. Do you want to put all the increase into the annual rent? Or do you want to spread it between that and the appliances? But we do need to do an upward adjustment.
So we
How do
probably
you want
can't,
to do it?
we probably can't do that till we figure out just exactly where we're going with, of course, this year it wouldn't, we won't be able to see it yet this year.
No, this would be for next year.
But,
So if you took everything, it was $150 a year if you took everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
if they had all of these.
So we could have just a flat $200 charge for electrical items.
Yeah, because when people start switching stuff, changing over to they don't come in and tell you. we're
Well,
changing
see,
over.
and that's it, and that's why kind of what we've done
Okay.
is, and
Be a
maybe
big
we,
incentive. Well, about time to change that anyway, we'll just go like.
maybe we need to start doing some kind of annual inspection, because normally what we've done is once one sells, we have everything on file with the current owner. Once that sells, we'll go back in, run through everything they had, look at what's the new owners wanting to do, and make the changes.
It's probably wise to have an annual inspection, but it's another workload on it.
Yeah, right, trying to get the trailer owners, especially some of them that aren't up there all the time, up there to meet and go through that
Yeah,
stuff.
how would you catch them all?
Another weekend job.
I'd leave it on the fire. Annual inspection.
Yeah.
Just need to do one.
Well, and even if they couldn't meet with us, if we had the keys,
Yeah.
then maybe we could just, hey, we're gonna come in that day.
Notify you if we're gonna be there at that time?
If
Well, that'd be the way to do it. If you
if
had
you-
all the keys, you're just gonna
Yeah.
say, our annual
Yeah.
inspection is gonna be this week.
Yeah, if you wanna come and meet us there, you can meet us there. If not, we'll let you know.
Do it when it's a slack time.
Yeah. It gives you an opportunity to look over
Everything.
It'd probably be amazing what you'd find.
Yeah, well,
It would be a good idea to do
Yeah,
annual
yeah.
inspection.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because if something can be abused, it'll be
Yeah,
abused.
right.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've caught a lot of people say, well, look at them, their old trailers, they're this and that, and this and that. And not that, you know, some of the old ones out there have been completely rebuilt.
Some were
And-
pretty nice.
And pretty nice, but I just see that as if a fire ever does happen, never has before, well, we had one, but if a fire happens, why, we looked at it last January 1st.
Yeah.
You know, just a good public relationship, I think, is what I see. They may not like that, but I think it's a public relationship it's our responsibility out there yet, that
Yeah.
the property is.
I mean, I think everybody understands, anybody who's been out there probably knows that fire took place.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just trying to do due diligence after that.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of different opinions, but I don't have a direction.
Oh, as far as the extra electrical appliances, I don't know, it would,
Need to talk about it this Memorial Day
got
meeting.
57 trailers, and your fee went up about $2,000 this last year, 2022 to 20. Yeah, most of that you can probably bank on electricity. So figure out where you losing $2,000 and throw that in, increase that number. 10 times 67 or 57 isn't enough. 20 isn't enough. 25 might be right about there, ain't it?
Would you put it all on appliance? You would put it on the annual rent?
It's easier to just do the annual rent.
Okay, then add $25 to the annual rent.
I don't think anybody's gonna too upset about that.
25 a month.
But I think you just still need to cover yourself, make sure we're covering ourselves out there with that. I don't know if 25 is enough, so I'm getting that, I'm saying.
To raise it?
To raise the rent, yearly rent.
It's the monthly.
Monthly, so
We're talking
300.
put it on the
300.
lot.
Oh.
So you're talking 300 annual,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Rather than messing with the appliances, you just,
Well, how about ballpark 300 a month and then 10, additional 10 on the appliances?
Where you want to be, I mean, there's a maximum that I see, and I mean, even though I talk about the number that they're getting for the trailers, but how much do you hear when people come in and pay the $1,200? How much slack do you get? I mean, I'm not talking just.
I would say, honestly, and once again, I guess it's one of those things seems like the newer people that come in think it's cheap.
You know?
But the people that have been there for a while don't see it that way.
No.
And so that's kind of where the difference is.
You cut
it
the
seem-
Randy Dawkins come in, it's high priced.
Yeah, they come in, the newer people think, 1,200, that's,
Well, yeah,
A
'cause
steal.
they used to go to the Ozarks and.
and they
place
cover electrical
That much a day down there.
and water.
same down at Disney, it's $100 to take your camper down there and leave it all year.
Yeah.
But you're only going there
Yeah.
once a month, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to make the decision today, but
I want to go through the whole thing and see where I want to be at.
All right.
You know, electricity, whether we put this other option in with the camper or shed deal, whether we put that, see what we're looking at as a ballpark figure.
You don't wanna discourage ownership though.
No.
no.
You know, you gotta remember that everything costs
Yeah.
twice as much as it did 5 years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah.
That was a question, did you know when the last time this was changed? This was the price of the lot rent.
Oh, yeah, I don't know exactly when, but I know what we caught. That's been a while. Dan Hollop was here.
Okay.
I think it was Dan, Roger, and I.
Probably been 10 years almost,
But
hasn't
I
it?
wouldn't doubt it.
And that's like everything, instead of waiting 10 years and making a big
Yeah.
check, we should do a
Yeah.
small increment.
Yeah.
A COLA?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
let's just build it into the lease.
You just use the COLA factor,
Yeah.
Social Security.
With 8%.
Of course, this year would have been a chunk.
But we have to do 2 years of this year. Okay, well, we've had a good discussion about it. I
Okay.
think we kind of got the ballpark area, but we'll,
Okay, that was what I had for the lease agreement, unless there was anything else you guys had there? Okay. So, next would be our utility expenses. So this shows you everything for the lake. Nothing in particular, just the entire park and lake. That includes our shop, the heated dock, the lake hall, the campgrounds, shower bathhouse, superintendent house, the office, everything. And including the trailer park. So there has been some interesting, pretty much first and foremost is, should be, I think it was titled utility.
It is, but I don't have like the years all in a row here. I don't know which, I'm not on the wrong email, I think.
Got the tabs in the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
It's
there we go.
interesting,
Yeah.
the big
Yeah,
jumps
there
are
we go.
from 21 to 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been, it really has been. And 23's off to an interesting start.
Look at that, electrical expenses.
Utilities,
All
it should have
expenses.
electricity, gas, water, sewer. So, one of my big takeaways,
Holy cow, yeah, 23 is going to be interesting if it
This
stays.
23, I mean, based on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trend,
yeah,
is gonna be quite a bit higher than 22.
yeah,
yeah, I'm seeing it on mine, but
It's
Yeah.
gonna be 100,000.
it's killing me.
so, I mean, really,
Yeah.
if you go back and you look at 2017 was significantly low. I don't know what happened in 2017, but it was a good year. Trash service was quite a bit lower than we're at now. The trailer rent was, or the the electricity expense was about 3,000 lower than the following year, but we're at 73 in 17. In 18, we jumped up, I mean, water and sewer, you can see those fees, water 1,400, sewer 1,340, that's pretty flat, you know, there's a couple of busy months where we might go over that flat fee on our water. Sewer never changes, but on our water, and I think the majority of that's full campgrounds, full trailer park, and it does seem like every once in a while we'll get above that set number of gallons on the water. But you look back then, you know, we did not have a single month throughout the entire year on our gas that was over $1,000. Not a single.
Yeah, 2023's
Yeah.
gas. Gas
So-
took the biggest jump.
Yeah. Really, 19 we were at 79. 20 we were at 76, which is right on par with how we had been. And then 22 came along, and we were quite a bit higher. So I will say,
Do you use the lake hall a lot during January and
so
February?
that was gonna be one of the talking
I mean,
things.
the
So
gas.
typically, from what I understood, and Tina, you might know more than I do, it sounded like they actually shut that down during some of the off-season before I was here. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. I will say we have operated
But
it
you can't-
year-round since.
The water, I mean, it freeze up.
Well, we could blow it out if we actually close the whole thing down. We could completely blow that line out that feeds that, but
I mean, are we using it half a dozen times a month? No.
yeah. I mean, and then we have, and that brings up, I mean,
Thermostat down to 50 degrees.
so normally what we've done is 55, we could turn it down, and I guess that's kind of been a hot topic for us, is because, you know, you have somebody, let's say, in on Monday, and then you have somebody in on Friday, we'll normally set it down to 55, but when you have back-to-back, or somebody in Friday, somebody in Sunday, is it worth turning it back down and then having them crank it back up? 'Cause
We can't.
Normally what we've done is if it's in a couple days, we'll turn it down to 60. If not, we'll turn it down to 55, and that's where we've had it set.
Just gotta keep it below 70 all the time. Cause I went to the Joey feed here a while back.
Yep, yeah, a
It
couple
was-
weeks ago.
You wanted to leave your coat on, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't warm enough.
Right. And
And I don't mind the cold, and it was cool in there.
I do know, looking at,
Saturday, well,
I was sweating at 70 yesterday, so
well, yeah.
you
But
look
but a
at,
week ago Sunday when I was out there, it was way too hot in there,
Somebody had the heat turned down.
because both sides were used.
what were you out there for?
Patriots.
Patriots mean.
See, somebody probably cranked it up to 75, but they were.
There's a bunch of hotheads in there, wasn't
Bunch of women.
And so, yeah, it's 22. I mean, it was kind of, it goes hand in hand with what we saw with the trailer.
Is the thermostat locked or is it?
No.
It's open to the public?
It's open, and that is something that we had to lock it in the dock.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so it's in a lock box, and I mean,
Good.
we could do something like that in the hall. We haven't before. It is open, and normally what we have on there is don't turn it up past 70. But granted, do people listen to that?
People
I mean,
come, there's always a few that come in
and
that are
that's it.
freezing
Yeah,
and they
you're
crank
right.
it up.
And
Yeah.
that's 100% true.
And everybody else sweats.
Was
And-
cold when you get in the building, then you get a big crowd and it warms
Yeah.
up 10 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't realize that.
Yes.
That you have
So-
to wait.
Yeah, that brought up, I mean, going and looking at the numbers, I know that like the gas, our high gas bill is the Lake Hall. I mean, it's a big building. I honestly don't know how well insulated it is, you know, I mean, it's an older
You don't want
building.
it out public.
And so, I don't know, part of me wonders if maybe that is why they shut it down during the off season.
it? That was the biggest reason, gas.
Gas bill, yeah.
You couldn't, unless you start charging more.
And that-
You know,
Yeah.
you charge more through the winter for the gas than you do for the electricity, and that's.
But I can say, I don't think we had a single week all year that we did not have anything in there. I mean, it's utilized.
There's always
A
something
lot,
on those
yeah.
Sundays.
Several days a week
Yeah,
almost.
oh, yeah, it is.
The problem is $50 for.
Well, and see, and that
I mean, we charge 100 at Tampa.
Yeah. And that brings up a whole other point, yeah.
But this is the sheet we need to work on.
That's
Right.
next.
That's where we're going.
You got 20 minutes.
I know.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you can see, and I mean, 2022, we went from 79 to 90, and everything pretty much went up. Water and sewer stayed the same, but trash service went up. Gas was definitely up.
Electricity's up.
Electricity
All
was
of-
definitely up.
Yeah.
Yep, and then if
All of
you,
the utilities are up. I mean, it's really something that you don't need to sit here as many years as this went by.
and if you look at 23, we are,
We're on target for
You're-
real increase.
Well, you're gonna be higher than that.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like sewer went up, water went up, which has been a consistent, and now that's a little higher. Our trash service has gone up this year, and our gas and electricity is up.
Down at the hydrant, they get $300 for that ballroom.
Do anybody know what they charge down at the city building in town here?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, and I know that they increased, but I don't know what they're at, and I can figure that out, cause that, I mean, if I wanna move on to this page, it's kind
Yes.
of the golden
Yeah,
page, I
this
guess,
is the
to
deal.
discuss,
Yeah.
if you have time.
Yeah, let's start with the Lake Hall rent.
So, and this is something I think that we could, right now, we rent it out by half, we go all the way down to half day. So, I mean, you can see here, you can get half the hall for half a day for 50. You can get half a hall all day for 100, or the whole hall half a day for 100, or the whole hall all day for 200.
Do you have a recommendation?
And double.
Pretty much 100 and 200, or are you thinking 100 and double everything? 50, 100, 200.
But you're gonna
400.
lose business.
So, and that's what makes me, I guess, because there are a lot of times I'll have somebody come in an evening for 2 hours,
Sure.
you know, and it's a $50 fee for half the hall, half a day. I don't know if somebody'd be willing to pay $100 to come in for 2 hours. And that's, Cause I like the half-day thing, I'm not a huge fan of, but in situations like that, it works. And then like you said, I think, I mean, you could change it and you would still rent it out. I do think you would lose a lot of the
Regular.
short little using that as like a meeting place for everybody to get together with that necessarily
So you end up not making any more revenue than where you're at.
You can almost rent it 3 times on that half-day thing, I mean, morning,
and afternoon,
and evening.
and we do that from time to time. And so
But how many of those meetings are 10 people?
a lot of them.
They're smaller places.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
No matter what we're spending on utilities, even if
Yeah,
it's just a
right.
2-hour meeting.
That's,
Right.
If it's in the summer, you're cranking down the AC, spending electric, or if it's in winter, you're cranking up the heat for that whole area. So even if it's one person, or whether it's 100 people,
Yep.
it still the cost of the county is
the same.
pretty
So
similar.
your half days are 8 AM to 5 PM,
8 a.m. to yeah, and then
5 PM to
yeah.
midnight.
We normally try to do 8 to 4 and then 5, so then we can have an hour to get in there and do what we need to do as far as cleaning goes and make sure that it's good to go for
Put
the
the chairs
next
back
group.
in line.
Yep, yep. But yeah, that's how we run that
Do you rent it much for the whole,
day.
the 200? Is there very many of those?
Whole all day. Yeah, usually those are like our bigger things. Like Ducks Unlimited holds their banquet out there. They always do it for 2 days. Weddings, it's always
okay.
that.
Yeah, I just didn't know how much.
Yeah.
A lot of weekend family
Gatherings, and a lot of people might only use it half a day, but they rent it for the whole day just so they can set stuff up in the mornings and decorate, and then go and use it in the evening. The
Convenience there.
yeah. Honestly, the $100 is probably what we get the least of. Seems like it's either 50 or 200. People are doing half the hall for half a day, or they're doing the whole thing all day.
So if you raise the half day and leave the other same, you wouldn't be losing any business.
I think you'd lose the half days.
Well,
People need the hall, they're gonna pay $300. I mean, they're gonna pay more, cause that's what, they need the space.
I don't think you can get what we offer for $200 a day anywhere.
I agree.
Now, do I think that building needs a little TLC? Absolutely, I do. But it is. I mean, we are the lowest rental building available as far as I know. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what the city building is, but I think when they just renovated it not too long ago here, they adjusted their pricing accordingly as well.
Is there any rules that it's only our county people can do that, or do we have?
I can see, since it's county owned, I can see it's covering our cost, but we don't need to be making any money.
As far as the county using the building?
No, I mean,
As
being it's county owned.
Using it as a revenue source.
Oh,
We have to be
oh,
careful
okay,
because
gotcha.
we're a
Yeah,
government.
yeah,
I think our biggest thing is just trying to cover
Right.
our expenses.
Yeah.
Right, that's really all we can do.
So you go 75, 150, and.
Even though
300.
we could say wear and tear is part of that.
Well,
Did you rent it
utilities.
10 days in January?
That's what I see.
Did I rent it 10 days in January? Yes. Yep.
So $150 a day for gas. And
Well-
put all that in.
I don't know what I did with it.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
did, there's a page that I sent you guys called the revenue report. On that, you can see exactly how much we're making
Say, the meter for, gas meter
For the hall.
For the hall and the restroom is all in one.
Yeah.
And that restroom uses gas.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they covered
But the
I've got it
hall
on the
is-
screen.
Yeah, the revenue report.
Yeah. So in 2022, on that lake hall, we made $6,585.
Which is quite a bit more than what we were making prior.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it from previous years. I think it's gotten busy.
So we're saying usage
Go back
is
to
up
17.
anyway.
I
look
do.
at it.
I do think usage.
Shoot
is up.
17 or 18 up there if you can.
So 17, we were at 45.
49. 18 was 49.
Whoa, sorry,
That's all right.
here's 17.
48.
Well, you gotta throw out the COVID year.
2020 took a big bump.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2018, a little under 5,000.
And 22 was
2019, 5,480.
bombed.
And where'd you keep
21
it?
was way back, right back up there.
Right
where
back
we
up there,
were pre-
a little over 5,
And then bumped last year to
Right.
Would you,
65.
would you kept the half day at 15, where you just do the 150 and 250?
7,550, 300.
See, and I thought about
Yeah,
that.
they're all just jumping up.
Just a little bit.
25 bucks,
Or even if-
basically.
Yeah.
'Cause we-
I mean, I do feel like usage is up. I mean, like I said, looking at the calendar, there's not a weekend that's open.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. It is a good deal.
Well, I mean, if usage is up, then maybe we don't need to do anything, because usage is up, you've got more revenue coming in, you've got
Right.
more expenses going out. Maybe the inflated gas has got to do with the more usage.
So gas went
Gas
up.
prices
Gas
doubled.
went up.
It's more than you used.
Yeah.
But just remember on that bill, when you see it, it's not all they call. You got the restroom set
Sure.
there 24/7.
Yeah.
That is correct too.
That's sitting there 24/7 heating.
But we got paid for that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I really like Jonah's idea, the 75 half day, 125 or 150.
150.
150 on the half day.
Pretty much
300 on
bump
the-
everything up 50%.
That's a reasonable increase.
Yeah, it
We
is.
can explain it
still,
as a cost. It's
still
affordable.
reasonable for our public to buy it, is that right?
That's still
Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah.
So you would do 75,
Is that-
150 and 3. Is that correct?
Yeah. Offset your gas and electricity uppage.
And people
Except
understand,
for Patriots,
everybody's
we don't have any money.
utility bills went up.
Went up, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if your home was
Donations.
in, that's mine did.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
about
thought,
the
I
rest
thought
of
you
you.
paid that bill. Don't you go in there with a donation and pay that bill? If they lost you, they'd lose their job.
Everybody satisfied with Lake Hall for now? Shelter house, since we have 8 minutes.
So the shelter house, that's not, I think if we just do $10 a day, I mean, that's kind of what my thought on. You don't-
Skip the half day.
Yeah, just skip that, get rid of it.
Any opposition to that? I think that's.
There's no, I was gonna say, there's nothing there.
Simple as easy.
As far as expenses go, it's just cleaning it and getting everything ready for the people coming in.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about utilities that one.
Golf cart permits, I think that's safe. I mean, we're pretty honestly high there, but everybody's willing to pay it. I think it's good.
What about going to 50?
We could do that. I mean, I think people are willing to.
I mean, they're gonna pay, they probably pay 100, I mean,
That's exactly,
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see, what is it?
It's 40.
40? Oh, yeah.
it's good at
I think
50.
we've had it, what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years now.
We talked to the city,
Boy,
get
they
them to
can
raise
fix it.
theirs too.
What is the city?
I don't know, I figure it's 40, isn't it?
I think they-
Hillsboro's 50.
Is it 50? Yeah, I think
Well,
I
then
think the
Beacon.
city has a deal. From what I hear, you can buy like a 2-year for 75, or you can pay it per year. I don't know,
I can
but
find out.
yeah, yep. I mean, like you said, I don't think people would have an issue.
What about the heated dock membership?
Yeah, so that's red because we got rid of that. There is no membership fee right now, and so
Because the
it's-
dock was gone?
that used to be for that. There's that special storage room in that old dock that
Lockers.
had a coffee pot and room, and it had lockers as well.
So you can fish here for nothing?
As of now, as long as they have a state fishing license.
You don't have to have a lake license or nothing?
No. And I think that all changed when we got a part of that CFAP.
Right,
CFAP
and
is
you
what it
can't
changed.
charge, I don't think,
Yeah.
because we get that
Oh,
CFAP
we
money.
get money from that.
Okay.
But, we put the heated dock on
Right,
there.
right.
That don't necessarily say that in that CFAP rule that we have to allow them to go in there.
How about we research that?
I mean, I'm just, not that we want to maybe,
Right.
I don't know, but, how many, well, I don't know, but a normal fisherman goes fishing in the wintertime. There's a lot of people. that-
There's a
that
lot of
good fishermen
docks,
does.
there's a lot of docks that do similar deals. You can pay per day or you can buy a membership.
Well, just to pay for the thing, we just know that it costs us
Right.
100, 200,000.
Right, so Tina
Well,
or Isaac, could you check and see if it's not possible, then there's no use having the
Yeah.
discussion.
I
How
can
do
check
you
on that.
police that if it's not a member? But everybody gotta have a key? That's a
Yeah, but
member?
you'd almost have
You
to
have to
do
put
it
a keypad.
Key.
Keypad?
So what about tent camping?
And then on a keypad, there's no, I mean, somebody could get their code out, if
Out,
on a
yeah,
key,
yeah,
they could share
yeah.
their key with their buddy, you know, I mean.
You know, way to police it.
Be a-
Very good.
No, I think you just have to, the lake officers would just have to walk in and say, yeah, you know. Just,
Okay, so camping rates, this is kind of the big one that's on here.
Okay.
We're at $13 for a Marion County resident per night with utilities, 14 for non-county. You can buy an annual membership for $100, which would then change your nightly rate down to $6 a night with utilities, or $7 if you're non-county. The way that we brand this is if you buy that annual camping permit, then primitive camping becomes free. So that $7 or $8 is gone, but your power hookups pretty much cut down to 50%.
So how many do you sell?
How many of those annual permits? So last year, we sold 29 annual permits. Now for $6, I don't know if you're making, if we're probably losing on that, I have to imagine, for $6 for 24 hours with water and electricity to run a camper. I mean, I don't know that, I don't know what that holds, but it just seems like, you know, 29 of those annual permits, that means for the entire summer, they're spending $6 a night for electricity and water.
Also do away with that.
Well,
Church
I'll say
rate.
most people do, so my thought process.
Charge your annual.
We don't charge annual. I mean,
Just get rid of it.
Charge you the nightly rate.
That would work, cause I mean, we're at 13 and 14 respectively now for county and non-county, and the non-county, annual permit, last year we sold 23 and then 29 of the counties. Most of the other lakes, when we had the small lake managers meeting, were between $15 and $18 a night. And that's kind of where they were. Now, none of them they're kind of like us. They don't supply sewer, which, you know, you look at a lot of these state lakes, they do, and they all have 50 amp hookups and all that stuff, and they're up into the mid-high 20s. I do think we have appeal being lower. I mean, we don't offer all the full service things that a lot of the campgrounds do that are up in the 20s. I do think we are due for an increase. So what I had written down here, I mean, and obviously this is just an idea, was to change our rates from 13 and 14 to 15 and 16. So you knock those up $2 a night. And then with the annual permit, instead of going a 50% decrease, you would then drop that to $10 a night with that $100 permit. If you do the math there, if they spend 30 days of camping out at the lake with that annual permit, it ends up saving them money. That's a month. I know every single one of those people that had that annual permit last year probably camped a total of 3 months throughout the summer. They'd come out for their 14-night stay, they'd leave for 7, they'd come back out for 14, they'd leave for 7, they'd come back out for 14. And I mean, that's a lot of camping at $6 a night. I don't think we want to go up. I mean, it's kind of a balancing act. I don't think we want to go up too high, because then it gets to the point of, well, I can spend that money going and getting sewer and water and 50 amp hookups where I can run both my ACs, and I have my own patio with an umbrella. But I do think we are due for an increase. I don't know.
So we got utilities involved in here again, right?
We do. Yes, we do.
So I think you gotta think somewhat utility-wise.
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop the utility companies from going up.
I think this is a county lake. We give the county people a good deal and raise the non-county. That's what the lake was built for. So like electric and water camping, let the county residents pay 13 and charge the non-residents 18.
Give me an idea too. We pay the bills. I mean,
Yeah.
we pay the bill.
I mean, we have so very little difference between county and non-resident that, and the non-resident's still gonna come if you charge them 18.
What was the number that you recommended on the annual camping permit?
I said if we stick with the annual, I think we should change the minimum instead of $6 a night. I said bump that up to 10.
Okay,
So
leave
keep the
the
annual
same.
price the same of
But
$100 for
adjust-
county, $125 for non, but bump that minimum up from $6 to 10.
Okay,
And what I had originally was then the non-county would go to 11 with the annual, but it would go, instead of cutting a 50% from 13 to 6 or 14 to 7, you would go from 15 down to 10.
And how many non-county ones did you have? 20-some?
23
Is that people that,
came out and
no, is that any, do they own anything out the lake? Do they rent anything out the lake? This is completely
Back to
different.
giving the county people a good deal.
Yeah. Keep the county ones.
$7 for the county and $11 for non-county.
keep the,
Do the non-county residents is what he's getting at, so 14 to 18. The non-county annual, 125 to 150. And the electric water with the annual,
would go from
7 and 11.
7 to 11.
and then keep the county $6 with the annual and 13.
Yeah. I can see that. Our taxpayers are already paying for.
That's what I mean. I mean, we need to keep it real, very reasonable for the county folks.
So what's their fee gonna be then?
So with that, it would keep, if you're a county resident coming out with hookups, it'd be 13. Your annual camping permit would be 100 if you wanted to buy that, and if you did that, it would stay at $6 a night with your annual permit. And then if you were non-county, it would jump from 14 a night to 18. Your annual permit would be 150, and then your nightly rate with the annual would be go from 18 down to 11.
Okay, but this $6 one and the cheaper ones does not use no utilities.
No, that does. Well, it does.
It does.
It does. That $6 with the annual is with utilities. And I guess, do you have any idea what a camper would cost operating for a night? That's what I don't know that
Are they
answer.
gonna run an air conditioner?
Yeah, you can go ahead and assume they are.
Yeah.
Why else would you go camping?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Got the TV and air
So
conditioning.
I'm somewhat agreeing with you, Kent, but yet I still wanna pay for my electric and out there.
Well, I was saying 7 and 11.
So that would change the annual for a county resident from $6 up to 7.
Right. And the non-resident from 7 to 11.
I think anything.
I mean, we want the non-residents, but we need to take care of the county.
but they really should some of the increase.
I go 8 and 12. I would up it just to keep it paying for the bills. I mean, I want to provide them with.
I mean, $1 is not gonna
Yeah.
change my thoughts one way or another.
Well, I'm saying 6 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
At least 2. But I don't know if that's, I just want to be fair with them. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to stick them.
Well, and I, honestly, and from the talks with everybody, if you're under $20 a night, regardless,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that people are more
Yeah.
willing to pay that
That's what I was
because
looking at 10.
most campgrounds are you're spending over $20 a night anymore.
Gee, what's KOA now?
They're 50.
70?
Oh, wow. I wouldn't-
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
And I think most of the reservoir spots right now are between 25 and 28,
If you can get them.
if you can get them.
Yeah, you book 'em out a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's
But
canceled.
ridiculous.
Then it's flooded. And you can't go stay there anyway.
All right, let's go back to the first one, electric and water camping, which is currently 13 county resident, 14 non-county. Kent's proposal was stay 13 and go to 18.
Yeah.
I think Randy, and I kind of agree with Randy, to get some increase for the, not put it all on non-county.
Yeah.
Maybe counter with 14, 17.
Yeah. That'd be fine. County. Yeah.
So then I come back to
Yeah.
the original one, would that be, I mean, we're not taking an action, we're getting a consensus at this point. Dave, what do you thought?
That's fine.
Any increase? Either
No,
one?
14, 17.
Okay. Is there consensus at 14 and 17?
I'd say 14 and 18, but that's just where I'm at. I'm not gonna vote against.
Okay, 14 and 18, 14 and 17.
14, 18, that's fine.
Okay, let's go 14, 18. Annual camping permit, again, Commissioner Becker's proposal was 100 and then 150 for non-resident.
I agree.
Okay, Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, so the consensus that you just said on the other one,
Yes.
was it supposed to be 14-17 or 14-18?
14, 18.
Okay.
The annual hold county resident at 100, go to non-county at 150. And then we come to the electric and water, which I think was 6, we're at 11. I think we were maybe closer to 8, 10.
8 or 10, somewhere up in there, for less than 10 a night for the county.
Where can we meet?
I don't know.
You're saying 8 and 10?
I was saying, I just saying stay, for the county, stay under 10. That's what I meant, somewhere
Okay.
under 10.
I'd 8 and 11.
8 and 11? Dave? Okay, 8 and 11.
That's a $7 discount per night, and for the in-county, that's only a $6 discount.
$6 discount
For the annual.
So that would probably put you at 28, that's a guess, but it's probably gonna be around there. That's kind of the way everybody figures it, is how many nights of camping are you gonna have to camp with that annual permit to make it save you money on the summer?
Right.
I think
so
it should be,
$6 and $6 would be 8 and 12.
say that again?
So the discount per night by buying the annual would be $6 a night on each one of them.
Correct.
If the county in-resident was 14, out of non-resident was 18, you went 8 and 12, they would both be a $6 deduction by buying the annual.
Total.
Okay, so you're saying raise the second one to 8 and 12.
Yeah,
Instead of 8 and 11.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That way, both
Yeah,
annual
it
permits
matches
drop you
up.
by $6 a night.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second one, the electric and water rate would be $8 county, $12 out of county.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a consensus in
It's time to eat dinner.
Who Cronin?
Had a chick onion.
What else we got?
Think about it.
there. How many did you have left, Isaac?
Well, really, the only other thing I would strongly recommend is the bow storage,
Okay.
and that is from going to 15 to at least 20. And
What
that
do you
makes it
mean?
a flat $5 fee, and I mean, supply and demand.
Per month?
Per month, yeah, because we're at 15 a month right
I
now.
don't think you can get outdoor
Yeah.
storage any less anyway.
No.
$20 bill.
And you're right there. I mean, I do think that one is pretty.
I would accept, I just recommendation.
How about your boat permits? Do you need to go up on those? Or?
That could bring
That's a whole can of worms, I know.
yeah. I think it's fair. I think it's fair as it is written right now.
RV storage at 20.
I think maybe at some point, I don't know if it's worth, probably not today.
The only thing you need to change is jet skis.
Yeah, so that's a big one.
They
And-
mess everything
You
up
need,
out there.
you need them doubled?
Double them.
And I know that we're starting to have problems with boat size, but that is $1 million question that I don't know how you regulate that, because you can have big boats with small motors, you can have small boats with big motors, and the motor's not necessary. But what happens is what we're starting to see is big weight causing both dock damage and shoreline
Somebody
damage.
puts their cooking cabins out there.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, I got thinking to do on that one, but I don't really have a recommendation for now.
All right.
But,
Okay.
You need a new radar gun, so you can sit there at the end like Dale did.
Say if your boat has a name on the back, it's too big.
Sound meters too, if it's too loud.
Yeah.
Radar and sound. A decibel
That's
meter.
why the Williams quit voting, so.
Yeah.
Would the commission be ready to take action on those rate increases? 'Cause those could be enacted now.
Not now.
We
We'd have to
can't
wait
in
till
work
the
session.
meeting.
But I mean, when we come back in
At
to a regular
12:30.
session. Right, when we come back to a regular session, would the commission want to take action on
You gonna
this?
add it to the agenda, or
Yeah, I can now add it to the agenda when we come
leave it
back.
till next week?
Yeah, I would just do it till
Next week? Okay, that's fine. I just
So we
was
can
asking.
print them all and see what all we've done.
Okay, we'll put you on the agenda
It's
for next
early.
week.
It's more.
That's a very good idea.
Red line.
Okay.
That way we keep track of what we told you to change too.
Yeah.
Red line.
Make it effective April 1 or something.
That sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
Yeah, that's,
You
yeah.
gotta catch most of your season.
I just thought these would probably be enacted as soon as we can.
Yeah, you wanna do it sooner.
Yeah.
Well, on the annual-
Next week will work good.
On
Not
trailer,
right
you have to do
before
that
season.
first of the year, right?
Yeah.
Right, the trailer
Gotcha.
one we've got. All right, anything else in the work session? If not, we'll pick it up next week in the regular session.
I think this is something though that we need to stay more on top of.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
we can see what thank you for getting it all. I don't need to see every month, but yearly was, once you can see it there, but it's just
Well,
easy to see.
Monthly was good for the trailer.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, like on the electricity and like those utilities, I mean, I can break it out per hole and dock. I mean, if you wanna see where that money is mostly going, we can do that. I mean, if there's anything in particular for the next time or whatever, I mean, I can break it out as for what's being spent where, I guess, as far
You
as
got
those
14
utilities
meters,
go.
huh?
Yeah, I mean, it might help on where that money, I guess, increases of cost could also go.
You know, a one-time deal of showing us what that meter covers, if you could,
Yeah.
you know, for your own good,
Yeah.
for what that meter covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Do we have a dead meter out there that's just doing, it's a meter live and charging us, but is it doing any good out
Right,
there?
right.
I would like to value that,
See that.
just to see what it's doing, and I'm gonna value what you tell me.
Okay, we will put you on the agenda for next week.
Okay, that sounds like a
And
plan.
it's a Monday meeting too. It's having so many Tuesday meetings, I can't keep track.
How about 1 o'clock?
1?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Of course, that's subject to change. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put
yeah.
30 minutes on, is that okay?
Yes, 30 minutes, please. Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Isaac.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Do we recess or adjourn?
I'm gonna adjourn the work session.
Okay, I move to adjourn the work session.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned. Regular session starts in 16 minutes.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, flag salute again? Or are you just stretching?
No, either way.
Okay. Call the Marion County Commission meeting to order, March 6th, 2023. We did the flag salute at the work session, so we'll move first into public forum. Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? If you're online, unmute your mic. I don't see any. With that, we'll move into agenda approval. I know we'll have a couple of executive sessions when Brad's here. Yes?
I have some business with administrative business over last week's business that I'd like to clear up whenever we get to that.
Okay, at administrative? If
Yeah.
not, then we'll move into administrative business.
Go ahead. Sure.
I was in the midst of sending her a text.
So do go ahead with administrative?
Yes.
Okay. have the minutes of February 28th.
Okay, commission's had a chance to review the minutes February 28th. Is there a motion to approve?
That's what
Okay,
my
you have
business is
a-
on, the minutes.
Comment or question?
Yeah. If anybody read the paper, they put out a headline that Marion County Land Banks will get free,
Yeah, and that's
free,
not.
free trash. And I would like to make sure, and when I went back and rechecked the minutes, that's not the way we did it.
Right.
That's not the intention of it.
Right.
And so please, Marion County Record, print something to retract that, because I don't want the other land banks thinking that they're getting free trash. We're paying,
Yeah.
and all land banks will pay that reduced rate that
It's
we've set. for-
Correct. It's a reduced rate that's in policy.
That's what my comment was about. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
But the minutes are correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve February 28th.
Commissioner Becker has made the motion to approve. Commissioner Galkey seconds.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried by a vote. I'll try not to get tomato sauce.
Thank you for a good job on that, Tina, because we did jump back and forth and discussed it and stuff, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, we do have, I'll bring the board in with them. We do have some early checks today, so that was in your packets.
Yeah, that motor grader, was that because is that a,
It's a new lease purchase payment,
Okay.
and so the first payment is due
Okay.
at a time frame that's just not.
it's okay,
We just want to make sure we got it in
good,
on time,
okay.
not be late.
Better get it.
Make the first payment on time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Any other questions? Now, is there a motion to approve, or do you need a little more time to approve?
So
I'll
you
make
want-
a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Gearing to approve. We have a second from Commissioner Crowfoot. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried by a vote.
Well, that didn't show up in your packet very nicely, did it? I guess you can see everything. Just a weird, the layout is a little weird.
Yeah, it's there. All right, next.
Okay. We do have change orders.
What's the totals? commercial.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone else has already signed this. It's just the list of county officers and their signatures, so I just need your I have to provide your signatures to subjects.
Sort of hard to hold a paper, right?
Yeah.
Just I think like Brandon anyway. Slow that.
I do have one salary sheet.
We have a salary change for Emma Simmons in the Treasurer Department. It'd be a new Administrative Specialist 1, $2,491 a month, effective February 21st. Welcome Emma aboard.
Okay, I did hand out just now a couple of quotes for the standalone generator for the annex. So I apologize, I forgot to get that in your packet. I did have a question from one contractor whether, how many phases it needed to be, and I didn't know the answer. So I asked them to just give me a quote for both ways, which that was on, you'll see that on the funk. I've given you all of the email also from the other vendor, because it outlines kind of what is included there, and I have no recommendation one way or the other because I don't know enough about it.
Okay, my memory is getting so short, but as I recall, we had originally did a bid to tie into the existing generator to the annex. I believe the low bid was around 17,000. It was fairly high.
It was over some, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
is up there.
And at that time, we decided to reevaluate and get a bid at doing a standalone generator, as it may be a lower price. Looking at the bids, it's significantly lower than tying into our existing generator.
And I just try to question why
Oh, we
it
need a
is
generator.
justified.
Yeah,
Do we really need a generator,
yeah.
that building?
I guess my response would be that, especially with the county attorney over there and EMS department, should we have power shortages, they still need to be able to conduct their work. I'm just giving my
Yeah.
side.
I think they can come over here.
Okay. But it's just,
It's just $20,000 we don't need to spend.
well, the one bid.
One bid's up there, but the other's not.
Yeah.
So, I guess to read the bids, the first bid from Funk Electric, $13,953.52. And then on option 2, which is the was that the 3-phase?
Mhm.
Would be $20,949. The other bid is from Elcon, which would match the first bid at $10,079.34. There's no need for the bigger generator at the annex, is that correct?
My understanding was that the phases kind of went along with potentially the service going into the building. And I didn't know the
Yes,
answer
yes,
as
yeah.
far as what kind of service was going into the building. And,
It's just a single phase service.
okay,
Three-phase is being done away with everywhere.
There's 3-phase in this building, but it's been split down to single
That's
phase
50 years old.
here and there. Well, when we had old motors, or you have
Yeah.
motors,
Yeah.
or rooftop units, a lot of times you'll get the 3 phases.
I guess the point is that option 1 on the one bid matches the same setup as the other bid. And both are sufficient to our needs. So now the question would come back to Commissioner Crowfoot's concern whether it's even needed at all, or whether.
Well, I understand Commissioner Crowfoot's theory, don't have no problem with that. But we are phasing ourselves here with this being the priority. Sometimes some units don't work when you need to. Yeah. We've got a generator set across the street, we've got one over here, one over there. All 3 buildings would be possibly command centers. We know that one over there would be, and this one might be, or that one could be too. So I don't know, I'm sort of in favor of doing it to prepare that, but if you build a new health department, do you put one in for them then too? And
That's just it. I mean, are we gonna do every
Yeah.
outside building in the county?
Yeah, that's,
Well, the health department's required by law to have one. They're gonna have standalone.
For their coolers, keep vaccinated.
They're taken care of by the hospital at this point.
Yeah.
we didn't have one at the old building.
No.
So it's probably just
It's
that they have to have a method to keep that cold, or some sort of an alarm to where they can move it.
Back to Dave's point,
Yep.
is it mission critical to have one? That's the question I have.
Mhm.
Is it mission critical? I'm not sure about EMS. I'd say the county attorney doesn't need it. But I mean-
EMS garages are part of
Mm-hmm.
the facilities.
I'm just trying to, there's certain things we've gotta have power to.
Right.
And others we could probably wait a day or two.
Because we just bill over here, is that right?
With what?
All we do is billing.
yeah.
Right.
We're
but
not
then-
dispatching or doing
No, no.
anything like that. Okay.
No, you're correct.
That's why I came back to, is it mission critical? It's
Yeah.
not mission critical. I mean, I agree with Dave at this point.
It's scary.
All right, well, to get a decision, I will make the motion to approve the bid from Elcon Services for the standalone generator at the annex. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, discussion, we have a position that it's not needed, they're not mission critical. I contend that it's for continuity of work, it would be a good service to have there. We're so dependent upon computer and electronics.
What was your motion?
To approve the Elcon bid for the standalone generator at the
I
annex.
think we make a motion to, seeing the way that's gonna shake out here.
Yes.
If you made the motion to proceed with the generator first, I could be
Okay,
a part of that.
there you go, I appreciate that. I amend my motion to simply state to proceed with a standalone generator at the annex.
I second that.
And Commissioner Dahlke still seconds that. That addresses the argument on the forward motion. We've had our discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion carried 3-2. Then I would make the motion to approve the bid from Elcon Services for the standalone generator at the annex.
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Dahlke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
Nay.
I abstain.
I don't think you can express.
Nay.
Okay, we're tied at 2-2 and 1 abstention. So parliamentarian, what, that
I think it fails.
fails, because we did not get the majority. So we will not, at this point, be installing a generator at the annex.
I think then you would probably want to entertain a motion to reject any or all bids, or to reject all bids,
Okay, then,
potentially.
okay.
But I don't know if you'll get it.
It'll pass. Okay, would someone be willing to make that motion?
Well,
You've already approved it.
Well, we've already denied this bid. I think what Tina's saying.
Yeah,
we
I
need to
mean, you
deny
had a
all
tie,
bids.
you had a tie, so there's no majority.
Right.
So that means that
Stalemate.
it's a stalemate, so it doesn't pass.
wait a minute. Well, maybe one of those two would vote if I made a motion to approve the high dollar.
I mean, y'all can do whatever motions you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we made the motion first to
Right.
approve it and have it there,
Right,
but we didn't get a winning vote.
correct.
So I would make a motion to approve the
High bid for the.
high bid,
Which would be the lower of the two, the 13,953.
13.9, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't.
I know, I don't either.
I don't either, but I'm saying,
I
my
know.
point being, is we voted
Reject
to
the
do
other
it.
bid.
Whether you like it or don't like it,
Yeah.
you approved to do it.
Yeah.
And so to vote against it, that's
Can I
what I'm
change that
saying.
Well, that comes back to Tina's suggested motions, you
Yeah.
reject all bids.
Can I change my vote to yes?
From the previous vote.
Well, we agree.
I think you would have to,
Make the motion over.
I would say do that again.
Do it again?
I don't.
Yeah, they do that in Congress all the time.
I know. We go on
I
commission
really
from
don't
week to
know,
week.
sorry.
Yeah. Well, I just tried to complicate it a little bit.
But you do have a motion on the floor,
But
right?
there's no second at this point,
Right.
and I'm not gonna second.
Okay. So that motion dies.
That motion dies for lack of second. So I guess I will restate my previous motion, asking that the Elcon bid be approved.
At 10,000 something?
Yes, 10,079.
I would second that.
$10,079.34. Second by Commissioner Dahlke. Had the discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Abstain.
Motion carried 3-1 and 1 abstention. It was, I appreciate that.
We will
Okay,
agree to disagree.
this was not in your packet. There is a banking resolution that we need to do, and this is, we can pass this around if you want to read it. It would be resolution 2023-06. It's just changing the individuals authorized to access the records for the municipal investment pool, or MIP, with the state of Kansas, because the new treasurer had not been added. So you're all welcome to look at that if you wish, but that's the banking resolution that I was handed, that needs to be completed.
I would move to approve resolution 2023-06 signatures for the municipal investment pool.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Galkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will not restate that motion.
Okay.
What?
Sign.
No.
No, just the chairman signs it.
Just wanted you to have a chance.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you could look at, if you wanted to look at it, you
Yep.
could.
I wish they
So
could.
on page 2, where the paperclip is on the side, that's your signature line.
Oh, thank
Can
you.
you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. On the table, I've given you the encumbrances. It's a sheet like this and a couple of reports behind it. The green column would be the amounts that have not been spent, that I would ask to be canceled. So, by fund, we have in the courthouse, in the general fund, a total of $15,436.54 that would be canceled. In ARPA, we have the $359,047.61. Road and Bridge, $38,321.46. Ambulance, $1,106.35, which was the rescue equipment didn't come in as much as was encumbered. And just a reminder that canceling the encumbrance is simply canceling the amount to be charged from the 2022 budget. It does not cancel anything else. It just means that we would now pay for all of these items from the 2023 budget if they're still outstanding. And some of them, the items just came in less than what was encumbered. And so the reason that we use the February 28th or early, we try to do this by the first meeting in March is so that we can provide clean financials to the audit, for the auditor, so I can finish up our financial statements.
Make a motion to cancel.
ARPA money is,
22.
go ahead, 2022. ARPA money still stays.
That's correct, but we just will pay for it out of 2023, because none of those items have been
Right,
billed yet.
second, Jones motion.
Okay, sorry,
Motion by-
motion?
My motion was to go ahead and cancel the 2022 encumbrances
And then the
Please.
total amount of that is $413,911.96.
Yep.
Motion by Commissioner Garing, second by Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you, that's
Since
just
we're
a kind
canceling, since we're canceling, I figured I could go ahead and put that one, because there's a few of them on there that I gotta be questionable when approving. But canceling, I can cancel.
It's just
Uh,
rolling. It's really not canceling, he's rolling.
Tina,
Yes.
where's that total correct down there?
413.
Well, so there's two totals. The one under the very top section, that's encumbrances, total encumbrances, like a halfway down the page, the amount to cancel is the $413,911.96.
Okay.
Okay? But we also did, everything at the bottom are items that were billed that were for work in 2022, so we charged those back. So those are accounts payable that were charged back, didn't actually encumber, but we have to charge them back to
Okay,
that
I just couldn't
budget.
make it all work out in the green, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, so the green, each fund, the gray under each section of green
Yeah,
is the total for
Okay.
that fund.
okay.
And so then the total amount under the last gray line there on that column is the amount that will be canceling. And it also matches the first page of your
Thank
outstanding
you.
purchase order report on the next, which is the next page. And
I'll
then
follow.
everything else, that next report shows everything in total that was either charged back because of accounts payable or that was encumbered and paid.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Very good. Everything cleared up on the encumbrances?
Yeah, I probably should have explained it a little bit better, but it is a little confusing. In your packet, you may have noticed, I put a proposal for some human resources services. so I reached out to the Austin Peters group, who is a group that helped us in 2014 with our case study. It's not the same group that we used the
Right.
last time, but they have been local traditionally. They've been out of Manhattan, and so they're very familiar with governments and with us particularly. And so now they've relocated to Colorado, but the people involved are still close by. Like, for instance, there's someone in Wichita that we potentially would be working with, but anyway, they do several different types of services. And what I asked them to look at was that career path for Road and Bridge that we have kind of not done anything with for quite some time. So be looking at the job descriptions, figuring out a set way in policy, so updating the job descriptions to where they're ADA compliant and everything else they need for now. And then also figuring out a policy of how someone moves forward within the department, a career path. And also including the Road Scholar program, because I started looking at that. This person that's in charge, that's the president of this group, used to teach part of that program. They know what that is.
Okay.
And then also, we had talked about the CDL, the requirement for the length of time. So they have given us a proposal, which would include meeting with the road superintendent, the engineer, meeting and taking care of all of that specific department as a career path and job descriptions. And the proposal amount for that is $1,450, which I feel like is very reasonable.
Yes.
Okay. And then we also have not updated our employee policy manual since 2010. And I know the last time that we updated it, we utilized an attorney firm that's an HR attorney's firm, and they charged, I'm fairly confident it was over $3,000 11 years ago.
Yes.
I don't still have that handy. I can look back in the minutes, but they provided a proposal of $4,000, and I feel like that is also very reasonable.
Yes.
So I wanted to bring that to you for discussion and potentially for approval, because I feel like this would be a good way for us in this time of the year too, where it's not as, we're not doing budgets and all of that, where we can make progress with some of these HR issues.
I really appreciate you bringing this to us, especially the part in Road and Bridge, the CDL, and the education career path, because we've been talking about this and not making any progress.
And I did talk to Bryce just a little bit about that Road Scholar part, but we didn't really, we didn't come up with any, we just kind of had a basic discussion.
Sure.
But I feel like this firm and the people in it are familiar with it,
Right.
and they could probably help us get something in place that would be a good policy.
And the employee
We've been talking about that for
I know.
several years.
And this would be a way to get it done, and I think it's the people with enough background to work with Road and Bridge and with Tina to get it done right, to bring us a proposal.
Yeah.
And the
It's
employee
just-
handbook.
I always thought reviewing the employee handbook,
Yeah.
we'd have to have multiple meetings.
Oh,
And then,
Well, and we still need someone that is very HR proficient, and while we've had HR training in our office, that's not everything that we do. I would like someone
Yes.
that's what they do to help us with that.
I'm strong in favor of proposal. That's just my opinion.
from what I can see,
Butler
it's
County,
very
Harvey
reasonable.
County.
Yeah, the recommendations are a lot of local counties. And you've got experience working with them?
Yes, they're great to work with.
So,
Even though they moved to Colorado.
and we won't
May
make
change.
We won't hold it against them, but we won't kick them out because of it. Any opposition? I'm gonna hear the other side. Is there any? We go ahead and take action. I would move to approve the bid from Austin Peters for the HR proposal as presented for $5,450.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Tina. Again,
Okay.
I think this,
I just thought, I just had a conversation with them, and I just wanted to see if they could package that all
yes,
as one thing, rather than us trying to struggle over here with this
Yes.
piece and do this piece.
Yes.
So, Okay,
excellent.
okay, thank you.
Made my day.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Made all our day,
Seriously.
because we've always been scratching our head on the employee handbook.
Oh,
Yeah, well, and that's, that's not really something that, I mean, yes, you all will have the approval of
Yeah.
it, but we need to make sure it has everything legally in
Yeah,
it that we
legally,
need
yes.
it.
It's a
It's not something
mountain,
lay people are supposed to do.
it's a mountain to get through, and having someone that
Show
this
them
is
the work.
good solution.
Okay, very good, thank you, I know I have quite a bit,
That's right.
That's all.
4,000, very good, very productive administrative session. All right, we're ready for Krista. Come on in. Hi, Krista.
Hey,
We need to have some type of entertainment in the hallway while everybody has to
Marcy's
wait.
my entertainment.
Oh, Marcy. So who's entertaining Marcy?
No one now.
Oh, poor Marcy.
Well, I was going to ask if we could, or request an executive session to discuss personnel.
Okay, how long?
Let's say 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission. Krista, Tina for 10 minutes from 1:05 to 1:15.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 1:15.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Do you have anything else for us?
I do. I have
Okay.
a couple quick things regarding the grants.
Great.
Next week I'll have you guys sign a signature page, or I'll bring that to you. So our KDHE COVID-19 grants that we received, we did get an extension, which is good news for us. So I can pass around this email that we were officially, yes, sir, just one per person, officially extended out till July 31st of 2024. We do have, so that applies to 3 of our grants. And so in our expanding infrastructure grant, which these are all COVID-19 based grants, we have a remaining balance of $70,785.77. We thought that we were going to have that expended by the end of June. This is also what we were proposing toward building carpet or windows or furniture.
Right.
So that's great news. Our IAP 3 and IAP 4, which are immunization grants, and they are also used for lifespan vaccines. We have carryover for next year, so the state fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th of $31,500 for IAP 3 and $38,631.54 for IAP 4. So that brings our potential grand total of COVID-19 balance for state fiscal year 2024 of $140,917.31. And things will look much differently for the health department once those are out.
Yes.
But that is all I have today.
Good news on the extension. Okay, any questions for Krista?
Question, she stated somebody's planning on going full-time. Is that position a full-time position?
So the CDRR grant, which is the new one that we are applying for this year, they said in the planning phase, which is what we're going to enter into this state fiscal year, they said is a quarter time, so a quarter of a full-time position. And then that person would also be responsible for the Safe Kids program, so the life jackets, the bicycle helmets, the Safe Kids Day, the consequences day that we're doing. And so they would have that as their other half-time position.
2 half times to make full time.
Yeah,
But not for another year.
right,
And
Not
that,
till-
that position will be covered by the grant.
yes. So they would cover a half-time personnel
Yeah, that's what
in
I'm saying.
2024.
Need to be planned in the budget,
Right.
so that.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
quick
sorry.
question, yes, but is it state, you're talking state fiscal year,
State
not
fiscal
county
year.
fiscal year? So
Yes.
you're talking
July
July
1st.
1 of this year?
Would be for the quarter-time position
The
for
new
that.
grant.
And
So-
then the
Yeah.
following year would end up being half-time through that grant, which is paid out of that grant funding. And I guess that grant has been a long-standing grant. It's been around for many years, so they don't anticipate it going away.
Okay, stable.
Which is good.
Good. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
Tell Marcy we're ready.
I will.
Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I just make sure you speak into it.
Okay.
Then people having trouble hearing us.
Hi, Marcy.
Hello.
Another low wind day, that's what we like.
And we were gonna be under very high, but they changed it when, because the winds are not as high. So,
That
yes,
is
thank you.
good news.
So the first thing I have is my quarterly update.
Okay.
I promise not to read off everything on this sheet. I tried to make it a little easier. I just highlighted, the duties for different months. That kind of, some of the bigger stuff. The response activities are not on here, but you guys usually know about those response activities, anyway, because like, you know, they happen in your communities. So, we did have, a fire under very high fire danger yesterday, which was at 120th and Upland. Peabody, Florence, and Marion responded, and they did a fantastic job because they actually had the task force, the wildland task force on standby, and they got 1022. So, yep, it turned out a lot better. You'll notice that like I said, I broke it down based on months. So you'll see January, February, and then on the back page is March. Then I also put down what the deputy director's been doing, in case you were wondering about that one.
Great.
And then I also put at the very end, you'll see some of the different upcoming events that we have going on. Just to kind of update you, March is a pretty busy month.
Yeah,
It's severe weather awareness, and so we have, which we have gone out to some of our cities and delivered posters for our storm spotter class that's coming up at Tabor. That's gonna be March 16th in the evening.
Okay.
We also, National Weather Service is kind of changing some of their stuff, so National Weather Service is coming down early and meeting with myself and dispatch about some different procedures and things that are coming up on the National Weather Service side, how we report. Right now, we use a system called NWS Chat, and they're changing that system over. So when we're kind of tracking a storm or talking about, you know, what's coming, what's gonna happen, what happens in your community, dispatch and myself are on this NWS Chat. So when I get storm spotter observations coming in, that's where I record that information. Same thing with dispatch, when they get deputy or city law enforcement, you know, send back in some of their reports, they're putting it on NWS Chat. So, and then that way, if they get busy, I can relay that information to the National Weather Service as well. So it kind of helps them track and helps them know what's going on in our county, so. Now, if at any point in time you have any questions about any of these activities, feel free to give me a call. One of the things that I do, I am still doing what in my world is called the 214s or the activity log. I still do that every single day. I'm still, of course, clocking in and clocking out because we're supposed to. So you have access to those too. I did not take away my calendars from any of my previous supervisors, so Tina still has my calendar, Krista still has my calendar, and I've also shared my calendar with Sarah at the sheriff's office, and of course dispatch knows where I'm at all the time because they have to know for response purposes. So if there's any, you're wondering about something, I'll be happy to send you my 214 for the day. I won't send you all those every week because as Tina knows, those got old quick.
Thank you.
But yes, we'll be happy to do that.
So is that storm spotter meeting, is that different than the one they've been having? Or is that the same thing?
Just a
Same
refresher.
thing every year, yep. Now, I am doing something different this year. Some of my fire departments had a conflict with that night, so I got permission from the National Weather Service. I'm doing an abbreviated version for my responders, for some of my fire departments and things. I'm doing that in Burns the next week. And National Weather Service was kind enough, I get to use their slides and their information and everything else. So I'm doing an abbreviated version down in Burns that following week for those who can't make it to the storm spotter. The other thing that we're doing a little bit different this year, we're going to see if there's any interest in what's called home spotters. We have rules and regulations for it. They can't be out in a vehicle, and if it's under a warning, they have to be safe and secure in their home. But until that warning happens, if you want to report observations from your home or your back deck, you know, out here in Marion County, a lot of us live where you can see for miles and miles. So what do you see coming? There's a lot of them that have rain gauges and things like that. How much rain are you getting? They have the wind speed right there at their home. So send in your reports. I'm gonna have a different kind of channel for them to do that in, but we're taking home spotters as well. And so if they come to the training, they have to be trained by NWS first. But if they come to that training, I'll put them on what's called a home spotter list, and if they send me their observations, I'll report those to National Weather Service. Because a lot of times when you get regular observations from the public, those have to be verified by an official spotter, whether it's law, fire, EMS, someone who's been trained in storm spotting. But if we train these home spotters, then we just have access to more people and more information. So if you're up in Lost Springs and you happen to be a weather geek and you like this stuff, you can report in. Now, bottom line is life safety comes first. So under a warning, I don't want to be hearing that you're out on your back deck when you should be in your storm shelter. So, other than that, yeah, we're going to test it out, see how it works. Trying to get the public a little more
But
involved.
you need to be at that March 16th meeting.
You have to have training, and it has to be from National Weather Service.
It has to be annual.
They are checking into that. As of right now, that is correct. You have to go to that. You have to go to National Weather Service training annually. Now, they also have on their website what's called a Jetstream class. You can go through that Jetstream class. It's not a one-day thing. It's an online thing that you can do. You know, it'll take probably a week and a half to go through it, but you can do that as well as of right now. Now, will that change under kind of some of their new stuff? I do not know yet. We have to come back. So, any other questions?
Any other commissioners planning to go to the March 16th meeting?
I'm gonna plan on
Okay,
Going around.
it, tentatively.
so I went last year. Very good.
Is that at the auditorium at Taylor?
Yep, the Sherry Fleming Auditorium, and just side note, Starbucks did say they'd be open that
Is that a
night.
7 o'clock start or earlier?
It's 6:30.
6:30.
Send us out a reminder. I think you already did send us a notice.
I can send another one.
You send us something on the 15th?
Yes, send it at 15th, send it the morning of the
I'm
16th.
the same with you.
Yeah, 16th is better.
No, 15th.
Well, Randy, you won't open it until the 20th, so it's gotta be a few days ahead.
Maybe. Maybe, so
My
19th.
Wi-Fi
The
might
text, the no reply text.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Can Marcy text us legally?
Yeah. We
I
just
can?
can't respond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just send a reminder.
Or if you send me the reminder, I can send it to them.
Thank you.
If you prefer, I don't care.
Yeah, it's gotta flow through Tina.
I don't know the legalities of,
Really
yeah.
like that.
I just don't want anybody to forget and start a conversation with.
Yep.
So if more than 2 of us go, do we have to name a
Oh, I've
special
already
day?
made a note, put a notice, okay.
But it
That
is
you
very
may be in
worthwhile,
attendance,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'll send out a reminder the 15th and the 16th, just in case. It covers both.
At like 6 o'clock.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, you've been kind of lax on sending out all these emails. You used to get three a day.
Was Lloyd in here? Did he tell you I broke the email?
You broke it.
We used
I
to have
did.
that bus, you know.
Rapid fire.
Microsoft 365, we didn't know this at the time, but apparently you can only send out so many emails in a day. There was a limit. And I've broken it multiple times now. He keeps raising me, and we'll see what the next one is, but it puts me in quarantine. And at the time, it wasn't sending me messages that I was in quarantine.
Oh, no.
So, he's got to physically go in and release me, so people were getting multiple messages multiple times, and we're still working on that problem. So I did break the email a little bit.
We've broken it in our office as well, but not as much as Marcy.
Yeah, Judy did too, so I was the only one, and now dispatch is doing it, so, yeah.
Better be raising that limit.
Oh.
Is there a way that you feel that too many messages is too much?
When I start getting complaints, I thought I'd go with that. To be honest, I haven't gotten any yet.
Your predecessor was way too much.
Okay.
And not enough here.
But
Not enough here.
But
You're
yeah,
doing just fine.
Yeah.
if I figure once I start getting complaints, then I'll start sending out a survey and just asking people. Because one of the things that's gonna be coming down, I went to Everbridge training last week, and we found out we have to redo that system, and our Nixle people can't come over to this other part without manually putting them in. So I have to call everybody on Nixle and try to get them transferred over. So there's some extra steps I have to do. That may change the messaging in and of itself. So, but yes, if it's too many, or if you guys hear complaints that it's too many, please let me know. I'm willing to work with that, but until I get those complaints out.
You're doing just fine. All right, anything else?
That's all for my quarterly update.
Okay.
And then I was asked, and I'll pass this around, I was asked by commissioners to talk a little bit about how we respond to hazmat emergencies in the county. So that was also on the agenda too, is what our hazmat response is. To give you a little bit of background, this information that I passed out to you is what is called ESF 10. It is an annex in our emergency operations plan. And ESF 10 is the kind of coordinating agency, or the people in charge of this group is called the Local Emergency Planning Committee, or LEPC, which you all know about because you receive invitations to that meeting. When it comes to hazardous materials, there's kind of some different government regulations and things that go with it. So that is where, when you hear me discuss tier 2 facilities within the county, they have to report their hazardous materials every year, okay? So if they have anhydrous, if they, even transformer oil, so like AT&T has to report they have transformer oil at this location. And those reports then go to our local emergency planning committee, and we know where they're located throughout the county and what they have there. So if we have an incident at that location, it helps with the response. What is our hot zone? What is, based on wind speed and direction, what type of a release are we talking about? So, but this also, one of the things I wanted to point out, if you'll turn to page 3, under number 5, right there at the top of the page, it talks specifically about what we do in an event. So, for example, we have a hazardous material release. There's pretty much what we do for response is, the first thing, of course, is life safety. Is it safe to go in the location? Okay, is it safe for our responders to go into the location? We want to identify the hazard. Sometimes that's done at kind of like in the same instance. Because if there's placards or things like that, we've identified the hazards, and sometimes we may already know that when it comes into dispatch. They're already gonna know, okay, we've got, 1592, they said that there's a placard there. Okay, so we know what that hazard is. We're already starting to, at that point in time, work on what's called our defensive actions. What is our wind speed? What is our direction? Is this something that, based upon some of the chemicals we have, we can't use water on it. Okay, water You know, for those of you who are kind of have an agricultural side, you don't put water on phosphate. So, you know, there's certain chemicals based on what they are. We have to look at defensive actions based on what the chemical is. So, to give you an example, if we have something that might be airborne, of course we're looking at wind speed and direction and things along those lines, but then that also tells us where our hot zone is, and then where our intermediary zones are that we can actually have the responders go into. Whether or not we need to set up decon facilities, whether or not we need to be calling in for help. Now, if we call in for help from regional or state, of course, that's gonna have to be a declaration, because that is out of county. For us, that declaration may become really quick depending upon the hazmat incident we have. Now, for, like, you know, the sheriff and I, we've responded to diesel fuel calls where you guys haven't got a call for a declaration because we happen to have those. And most of the time with our incidences in the county, our hazmat calls are over the road. They are, we do, knock on wood, we do not have, the two safest forms of transporting hazardous chemicals is actually rail and pipeline. Those are the two safest methods. So most of the time what we have is over the road when we have a hazardous materials situation in the county. So that's what it talks about in there, is actually your response. And you'll notice it also talks about what the county will provide. The county provides medical support, the county provides evacuation support, and the county provides public notification. Those are all things that we automatically provide under the laws the way that they are written. Now, one of the things with the hazmat situation, it also comes into play is whether or not it's private or public lands or things along those lines. Because the rail one was the specific one that I was asked about, but let's say you have an abandoned vehicle on the railroad tracks. The train hits it, that abandoned vehicle's just pushed off to the side, it's on private property. Marion County does nothing. I mean, that's the railroads to take care of. So that's not something, I don't even know that the.
It's not even a vehicle accident.
No, it's nothing for us, it's just railroad.
Striking of a foreknowledge.
So, you know, it depends upon what it is and how it happens, but this tells you for hazardous material incidences what we do. Just so you know, the RAD equipment that we have here in the county is currently at the Kansas Division of Emergency Management for recalibration and to look over. That was actually just taken up about a week and a half ago for them to take a look at it. So that's where that is right now. And then that is the entire rest of this talks about what we do for contamination, direction, control, how we organize things, both the county, the state of Kansas. And in the very back, and this is the part that I love because it makes it look like a checkoff sheet, is exactly what everybody does, what the responsibility you have, what the responsibilities are.
Page 7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's where those responsibilities start. So what does the local emergency planning committee do? What does emergency management do? What does EPA do? What does KDHE do? What does the clerk's office? We make sure that all our public notifications go through the clerk's office. You know, what does the sheriff do? You know, what's everybody's responsibilities if we have a hazardous material situation in the county? Now, this documentation is available right on our website. It's on the Marion County website. If you go under emergency management and you go under plans and documents, this annex is right on there. Every year, the local emergency planning committee has to review this annex. We're required by state standards to review it every single year. Not all of our annexes get reviewed, but this one does. So that one, we're required to every single year take a look at it, what needs to be updated, what needs to be changed, what needs to be fixed. We also, as you know, local emergency planning committees are public meetings, so any public can come into them anytime if they want. We advertise when the meetings are. Every meeting for 2023 is already on our website. The date, time, the only thing that changes is the location. That gets updated. The meeting minutes are all on the website, the meeting agenda is on the website. So those things are kind of public information and things that are out there, so everybody knows what it is that we're gonna do.
Very good. Questions? Did that add?
I asked Marcy to come and
Right.
bring that to us and talk to them based on
Right.
what we've had happen in this nation.
Mhm.
And also knowing that we've got two major
Mhm.
rail companies with three major lines going through this county
Mhm.
with pulling hazardous material every day.
Mhm.
You know, it can happen in Marion County, Kansas, just like Canada, East Palestine,
Yep.
Ohio.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm thankful that we have this train of command, this, what we have. I don't know what they had there. We'll probably never know. But at least I think we have a foundation.
And for us, we're going to, like I said, our biggest priority is life safety of our responders and life safety of the citizens. Those are the things that we're working on. And those are the things that we're in control of in the county that we will take care of. So if we need to call in outside resources, we can do that. I mean, I know I have to have a declaration, but I can call in the American Red Cross and the United Way, so I can get shelter set up, I can get food and water, I can get anything we need. I can't do it without your approval because we have to have a declaration, so.
We can do that pretty fast.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way. They did not have the verbal declaration set up like we do have in this county in this particular situation you were talking. And so they had to get everyone together. And it makes it a lot quicker to get resources here, especially in a small county. We don't have all these resources. We don't have a hazmat team sitting down the street. So because you guys have developed that method already, it makes it a lot easier for us to get our resources here a lot quicker.
And I want you to know, I've been very appreciative of Marcy, that when we have fire weather, she usually, if things start getting a little questionable, she'll just reach out to me, or keep your phone handy.
Yeah.
You know, just a heads up, not happen to be, make sure your phone's close by.
Yep.
So anything we can do to assist you, we're on, we'll do whatever we can.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
I think it would be good for Marcy to have just a quick 5-minute executive session for personnel performance if there's time.
I move that we recess the executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with Marcy, the commission, Brad, Tina, for 5 minutes, 1:45 to 1:50. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We will be back at 1:50.
This conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session. No decisions made. Anything else, Marcy?
I do not have anything. Do you
Okay.
guys have any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we appreciate the
Have a
updates
great
and the
day.
information
You
today.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Inns. Hello, Mr. Inns.
Hello.
If you'd come over by Mr. Dalkey.
No chair over here.
We have some people online, so we want to make sure they can hear you.
You have some information here for you.
Okay.
I'll pass these around.
Okay.
There's a letter on the top there from the Watershed Board. And then the next page is the inspection report that I have to fill out every year.
All right.
And then there's a couple of pictures of the road. The state inspected it a couple of years ago, and they were talking about that being about a foot low, which it is. And I have visited with Mr. Goebel here several times on this, and the state wants to get this back up to the top of the dam elevation.
Okay, so the key issue here is the road is lower than the
Yeah.
top of the dam elevation.
Right.
Okay. I guess if that's the main issue you'd want to discuss today?
Yes.
Then we'd ask Bryce if you want to, have you had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, we've looked at it, we just haven't got to it. Main matter, we'll just go down there and do it. We've got an issue with the city as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of going down there and putting some more dirt. What happens is that motor grader goes over that crest every time. It
Right.
just creates a little bit more, little bit more, and it just makes it too low. So we just need to go down there and put some more dirt and get it built back up, so, yeah.
Does that sound satisfactory?
If that gets done, I've got no problem with it.
Okay. All right, well, if that sounds like we've heard your issue and we've got a resolution to it, I think we should be able to resolve the issue.
Is this the dam right here?
Yes, that's the
And
top of the dam.
We're actually grading part of the dam.
Yes.
We go up and over the dam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other picture is actually just down from the top of the dam,
Okay, yeah.
and that is about 12 inches, give or take a little, from where it should be.
Dry weather project?
Oh, yeah, it's a dirt road, so, yeah. Yeah, we can, if we can even get down there tomorrow and get the material down there, it's just a matter of sending things down there, so, yeah. If I could go down there,
and take a look at it. I think this is my area.
if I could go down there and start working on it, and make it rain, I mean, that's usually what happens, so.
If you can make it rain by working on it.
Okay, you know. So.
Be careful when you ask for rain.
Well, you know.
About a year or two.
Yeah.
Timeframe, couple months?
Oh, not even that long.
Okay.
We'll just go out and do it.
Okay.
It's just a matter of throwing the resources at it to get it done.
Okay.
And I'll talk to the city too, because Tim has the same issue with, I think it's the one off of just south of town here. So the road goes up and over. It's the same thing. We go up and over it, and every time we hit it, we take a little bit off.
Okay. Any other questions or?
No.
All right, well.
Thank you.
Make it short and sweet and
Hopefully we can
get out of
spend more
here.
time waiting in the hallway than talking to us. We appreciate your coming in and bringing it to our attention, and hopefully we'll get a quick resolution for you.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stan.
All right, Bryce, what do you have for us today?
Special lunch?
No, this is a delicacy from clear up North Dakota, or South Dakota. Delicacy.
All right, bunch of items, nothing extremely important. I got the high-risk railroad sent in, a reminder that the cost share is due on the 23rd. So I don't know, it's 2.5 weeks, if the commission's come up with an idea on what any thoughts about that, so be thinking about that again.
Do you have any priorities on a certain road that you feel is #1 priority?
I've got so many #1 priorities that,
Under this high-risk road that you're talking about,
right.
what's the top of the list?
Well, the high-risk rural roads are basically already set up in this program that tells us which, they've determined which one those are. The cost shares or whatever else, those are projects we just determined to put in.
I think
So-
he's asking you, what's your priority for the cost share?
Yeah, cost
It's
share.
for the cost share. you know, we've talked about trying to get the you know, pavements and stuff like that down on 290th. We've got, you know, we got work down on Old Mill, 30th. Like I said, any of those as far as an overlay or a full depth reclamation or whatever else, I mean, we've got, we could go back and do work on Kansas, north and south of 56, Quail Creek going up to Ramona.
But as far as getting support for grants and applicability, would 290 still be our best shot?
Well, I would think so, just due to the amount of traffic and the kind of traffic, but.
Is there an advantage of, I mean, we just, within 15 days, putting in another application for the same product that they could be maybe somewhat bundled?
I've thought about that too, if we were to, because I mean, the high-risk roads we turned in was just for the widening and the structures.
Yes.
If we turned around and said, hey, we want to go back and submit that on a cost share,
Right.
we may get one, we may get both, we may get none, so
Right.
then where does that put us? Without knowing what that first submittal was for the high risk, whether we get it or not, it's kind of tough to turn around and put the overlay portion on top of that.
Would the overlay portion of that be better for like the economic development?
I would
Which could be done
think,
anytime?
yeah, and I would think any of those projects, obviously that's where we got the one from Remington East was economic development. So, I mean, it does fall into there, but.
How about, if in my opinion, I still feel 290 is a high priority to get that whole stretch completed. And we've got a lot of public support that we can put toward a grant application.
Right.
How about the cost share for the gap in between, continuing from Remington on 290th West?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option too.
And then
whether
do
you-
an economic development on the pavement.
On the west end.
Finish out the project.
Right.
And that's the other two. If we get all three of them, of course, they're spread out over a couple of years.
Yeah.
But the county would be up to $1 million on each project.
Yeah, and it brings up the issue if you wanted to go back and do, basically, where do we stop at Limestone? Where do we stop at?
Limestone.
Yeah, so if we stop, we go from Limestone over to Remington.
Right.
Minus the bridge through there.
Right.
We could probably do a full depth reclamation and do an overlay on it.
Right.
So.
And do that under the cost share.
Yeah.
Be nice to keep it all.
Yeah.
I really want to finish that stretch.
Yeah.
And if there's an opportunity for partnering, or if they could somehow give at least 2 points for being on the same project.
Right.
That looks like 6 miles there. 30th would look like 3 miles from Old Mill to the county line.
Yeah,
So-
and I know 30th does have some issues, we're losing our edges. So at the least, we're gonna go in this summer and try to maybe blade those out a little bit, put some good widenings in there, through there, because yeah, we've got some big issues down there.
30th is just about like what you're talking about, Dave, 290th. It serves this whole area right through here,
Right.
over to this, to go to, everybody goes west,
Right.
out of that area.
But I can figure out if that's what you kind of want me to look at, I can work up some numbers and.
I know
just
we're
see
gonna
what
have
we-
to work on it for long, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe too.
When's the deadline on cost share?
23rd.
Okay. And would we have a consensus to work 290th from Limestone to Remington from the commission for an application?
Well, like I said, I can put some stuff together and we can discuss
Bring it
again
back.
next week.
But to give you direction, is there opposition to it?
I think we just go for 2 of them. You got a 6 mile project and a 3 mile project.
We can't get it for 2 million. Can we?
Probably not. I don't know. I just have to work it out.
Okay.
So let me work up some stuff.
Could bring an option with
Yep.
both.
Yep.
But the temperature I get from the commission is when we do these, not to really go over $1 million, because they're gonna cap their match in $1 million.
Yeah, it's max out.
Yeah.
Unless we're
And
willing
I-
to put up $1.5 million.
I don't remember if the cost share was a max on $1 million. I'll have to check. So they've got so many different programs where they have all that stuff.
It just seems like, but double check.
Yep, okay. Tina and I met with parking lot, or looking at the parking lot, sidewalk, stuff like that. I talked with the city inspector. We would basically require no permits from them. I've also talked with the Historical Society as far as being on the National Register.
they didn't feel that any of these changes that we would want to do would affect that, as long as it wasn't the building proper or a substantial addition or whatever else to that. So that wouldn't be an issue. Now, I don't know if you still want to talk about the extra parking over here. Is that still something you want to consider? We'd have to do the sidewalk from here over to that other sidewalk or the parking area, whatever else, so. Anyway, just throwing that out there, but out of those two was the big issue.
Can that extra parking be a separate little project that we can do without that, or because if you're gonna put cement over there, then you're, if you build a building someday,
Yeah.
you've lost that, and that's why I say maybe a separate little project that get your main flow through here and
Sure.
this extra new parking like you had planned.
Yeah.
But-
Well, we could set up as alternate or something to that effect too, to see what you want to do, and that would at least give you a price that somebody would do it for.
An alternate.
Okay, so
Sounds
on our base one will be the parking lot behind here, the
Yeah.
sidewalk
With the,
on the south side.
with a little extra, parking lot with a little extra. And then I think you're talking about the rest, right?
Well, not the whole thing, no.
Just, I think he was just talking about
No.
from where we are here, just pulling this way.
Well, not unless somebody designed something, I thought you were just looking for a couple more extra spots along that side
Yeah.
that people could park on, inside this area,
Yeah.
instead of going over to the handicapped area. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes the
Let me-
north edge of it off.
Let me work up some stuff.
Okay, and then you've identified which other sidewalks?
Yeah.
or is that-
Mainly was the part coming up from the bottom, basically most of, if not all of that, from the bottom up to the top needed to be
Okay.
replaced. And then I think the sidewalk going to that way, we wanted to replace, and we were just gonna patch to this side, I believe it was.
Would you make them wider?
That was one of the questions I asked, because right now it's only 3 foot wide. They said they didn't, either one of them had no problem with that, so we could make them wider if you want to.
Did you look at the sidewalk clear up?
I did not. No, we did. Yeah, we
looked
did.
at it.
Yeah,
Took a lot
yeah.
of excavating with it.
Yes, gets to your bucket.
Yeah.
It is roughly
It's
72 inches.
It's
36
they're
foot.
80 inches wide, so that's gonna be.
So it's easier because you excavate the same and
Yeah.
then you form a little bit and then
Yeah.
you pour the rest shut.
Yeah,
And it takes less topsoil to put back.
yeah. So anyway, we can sure figure all that out, but yeah, we had that discussion. So, the, commercial building, I don't know if Tina talked about that we met with the city planning commission, they approved our building for change in permit up there, and it goes before the city this afternoon at 4:30. So,
Any major drawbacks?
It was unanimous approval.
It was basically,
just have to
we're
be
gonna
there.
be restricted on what we can park there, as far as just passenger vehicles and light trailers,
Yep.
is
I
the
read
main.
that. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then, obviously, if we sell or change use, then our permit
Correct.
goes away,
Right.
and then
we have to work with the city building inspector, which,
on our renovation,
yeah,
Yeah.
those were the conditions.
yeah.
And that, yeah, I was gonna mention that before we left,
Sure,
that that
sure,
is
sure.
tonight, if anybody plans to attend
Why
that.
this was in the meeting.
We'll still be in session.
Hopefully
Yeah.
not.
So 4:30.
Everybody had different-
Okay.
We haven't even started as Brad yet.
Are you planning to go to that?
I was going to, not knowing
Yeah.
what's going on here, so. Sharon, I think Sharon said she was going as well.
Okay,
so.
if we're done here, I'll try to, I'm
Yeah.
planning to go as well.
I went out to bid on the shop doors, for our sign department, the south shop, as well as the 2 down at Peabody. Got 3 bids, if you wanna say. Sturdy build overhead door, cheney door, all pretty much quoting the same sizes, things like that. Sturdy built, was, you see at the bottom, was at $12,850 for all 4 doors, which included the openers as well. Did you guys get one at the end? Okay. So the only real thing that I saw was Sturdy Built did have a longer lead time, but I thought for the difference in the prices, that that's something that we could probably be able to work with. So we pretty much, and part of the requirement was out here at the south shop, that fiberglass door has a lot of deterioration stuff around the door frame. And I told all of them to quote to rebuild all that. So we go back, it's in good shape. Along with all the trim and the weatherproofing and stuff like that. So.
It's your recommendation to sturdy built?
Well, and I guess the question is, I'd like to do all 4 of them simply because of getting them done. But like I said, even though it's gonna take longer to get them here, that's a pretty large difference in price. So I would recommend sturdy built.
These are all uninsulated doors?
Yes, yeah. Just we're all in uninsulated places now, so I really didn't see any one of them going back to the insulated.
Right.
So
I'm just looking at door prices.
yeah, yeah, they're
Makes you want to replace yours, didn't it?
Yeah, way cheaper, non-insulated.
yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I'd make a motion to approve the bid from Sturdy Built to replace the overhead doors in the amount of $12,850.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dahlke. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you on that. I went and sent out culvert request to three different companies for 80 culverts, different sizes and widths and lengths. And I asked them to have them back by Friday so we can look at them. Been talking with Chase County a little bit. As far as equipment, stuff like that, we are kind of in the process of maybe talking about getting a screening plant, which basically would be beneficial because they get a lot of material out of the river channel. Down there, basically like a sandbar, only it's rock. The problem is they get the real big stuff in there as well. We've talked about, said, even if we got that together, maybe we could combine and use that rock, whatever else. Again, just looking at it, obviously you got to be very, very aware of what costs are going to be, but just let you know we're kind of looking at it. It would be a lot more advantageous to Chase County, but yet we could use it. It's ironic that there's actually a belt magnet that's coming up for sale at the end of the month that actually fits over the top of the belt. Right now it's at like $700. So anyway, that's another thing we look at that we could actually process or do whatever else we could with our crushed concrete maybe down the road. He's where's anything else that we've got to be so careful on what we'd spend doing that. So just let you know we're looking at. They don't bid till like I think 2 of them bid the 21st and the other things are like the 30th. So we're just kind of looking at it to see what we can do. So getting involved in that kind of operation does get us involved with MSHA, which is the Mining Safety and Health Administration, just like OSHA, only for mining. We've discussed that, not an awful lot involved with that. It's just a matter of taking care of that ahead of time if we get to that point. So finally, KDOT came about having a bridge inspection class. It was $2,300. It takes 2 weeks. I've been doing some research on that to whether it would be beneficial for me to do that. I checked with Saline County, and they do their own inspections. That it takes 2 people, approximately an hour and a half for inspection, documentation, entry, stuff to that effect. So if you have 2 people at an hour and a half, it'd be 3 hours per bridge. We have 300, makes us 900 hours, and whatever you would say would be, honestly, I'm still looking at the fact is I think it's still more beneficial for us to contract that out. The other problem is I don't have another person to go with me to try to do that. Plus I'm spending a tremendous amount of time out there doing that. So I guess my only question is, I've registered for the class just because it was available, but I haven't paid for it or not attending it. So I guess I would like to say that I don't do that, stay here, continuing what we're doing, and we can still contract that out.
Are you sure we haven't paid? Because I thought that was one of the bills for this last month. But I guess maybe they can refund it.
I just got an invoice sent to me, so we better find out.
but maybe they sent me one, or I didn't know about it, so, anyway. But yeah, but again, you know, obviously being gone for 2 weeks up there in Topeka is kind of a long time too, but not saying I wouldn't want to do it, but I just look at, you know, the opportunity of doing other things as well, so.
Is there opinion from the commission? Would you rather, do you have a strong feeling that he needs to attend the class, or would you prefer that he stay and focus on it?
Well, and along with that is if I go out and if I get this certification, I still have to spend basically time out there with another bridge team leader.
Right.
It's like a on-the-job training thing as well.
So you have to bring somebody in.
Yeah, for this first time, but I just look at the fact is that I think that, you know, there's other more beneficial places that I could be using.
When's the class?
2 weeks.
No,
It basically starts 2 weeks from today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
During the busy time.
Yeah, it came up pretty quickly, and that's why it kind of caught me off guard, so.
During the closing of the wind farm. Huh?
What's that?
During the closing of the wind farm.
Well, that too, you know, but.
I mean, they'll be winding down.
I believe the public needs to understand what we just discussed. There's some criticism that we got an engineer who went out there and inspection the bridges. And so maybe they need to see what kind of time it does take to do that. I mean, we can't spread him out 900 hours on bridge inspection.
Well, and lose 2 weeks plus.
Training and
plus,
stuff.
plus.
So-
And we need another person.
Yeah.
Which
I
we don't
just
have.
think that when we get criticized, they need to hear what we just heard.
Are our bridge inspections, are they bid out for more than 1 year?
They are done every 2 years. That's basically what they require. I don't know if we do have 2 or 3 that are on single year because they're special bridges. And then obviously we have to worry about underwater bridges. We do have a couple of them where we have piers underwater. But for the most part, they're every 2 years. And that's required basically by the National Bridge Inventory.
And we did pay that
Did it?
invoice
Okay.
in February.
I guess my sentiment and what I'm hearing for the most part is that we prefer you stay and work on current
Okay.
projects and
Yeah.
time be put to that.
And, you know, maybe sometime down the road, things changes, we can get back into
Right.
that or something. I'd like to say we could, but we've tried numerous times trying to find somebody else there. But I do know that, I did get, talked with KDOT local projects guy here, a couple months ago, and he said the bridge inspection did change considerably last year. And he says even the people that were, very familiar with it had to spend more time based on what those requirements were. So, but anyway. So.
Do we still just have a contract with, I'm not trying to think of the company.
Cook Flat Trouble?
Yeah, Cook
Yep.
Flat Struggle.
Yeah. And part of the reason why, I mean, they've done a great job for us, and, you know, they know the system, they know where these bridges are. That if we were to bring somebody, and, I mean, if you want to, I can go out and I can get all these other people to quote it as well. I don't think you're gonna change much in price, but, so, yeah.
Is there a number of companies in Kansas that do that?
Basically, any consulting firm in Kansas does them. Schwab Eaton, Caw Valley, Cook Flat Strobel, Kirkham Michael, anybody with consulting engineering and has a professional engineer that has gone through the courses can do this. So, as long as they go through these courses.
If I remember right, what were we paying, 20-some thousand a year?
Was it 29, I think it was, when we paid it this last year.
2 years, or 2 years, I think,
Yeah.
Just wondered if it wouldn't pay to bid it.
Yeah, I said I don't have a problem doing that. That's what she wants.
I mean, I know they've done a good job, but.
Yeah.
When the time comes up for
Yeah.
that, bring it to us.
Yeah, see, we just got done last year, so, and there's only a few this year that have to be done,
Okay.
so next time.
We've got some time.
Yeah.
Oh, so they don't do all of them every year?
They do all of them every 2 years,
Or
But
Tuesday.
but then there's some of them that still need to be done yearly for
Like-
whatever reason. Yeah, so. Okay. All right, the only other thing I had, was under executive session for personnel for probably 20 minutes.
We have a conference call at 2:30.
Okay. Well, let's go for 13 minutes and see where we
12.
end up.
12 minutes, okay.
12 minutes, yep. I'll talk fast.
Okay, I move we recess in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with Commission Brad, Tina, and Bryce for 12 minutes from 2:18 to 2:30.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 2:30. Go into another executive session.
I'm all right.
Hour, half hour.
He's going through those.
We're gonna work
This
with Austin
conference will
Peters
now
to
be
develop a
recorded.
career path, so I don't know if you were listening.
Oh, that's what this is?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha. I heard you talking.
I just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. Did you have anything else for us?
No, other than that there's,
We do have a salary change in Road and Bridge. Fred, Phil, we'll be changing from equipment operator 2 to equipment operator 3, $3,063 a month to $3,179 a month, effective February 21st.
it's just love this, you go from 70s to 60s and then you're back into the 30s and it's crazy.
It's just hot. Gotta move north.
I'm freaking sweating in here.
Talked to my nephew in Minneapolis.
Used to that cold weather?
They didn't open that one.
They've still got snow on the ground up there. They got, what do you say, 16 inches one time, so.
Have we been at 80th
Anything coming
down in there yet?
You gotta open the store windows here, I think.
so Anyway, that's all I had. If you
All
got
right.
this.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Bryce.
Did you get a chance to drive from Goldenrod on west, that lazy bus driver's area? Have you got a
Is that
chance to
still
drive
open, Jim?
80th Goldenrod down? I haven't either. that's
Don't
why.
press that button.
Yeah, no.
Window shower.
Okay, while they're adjusting windows, I'm gonna take us into another executive session. I move we recess the executive session in order to discuss litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with Commission Brad, Tina, and Corey Buck online.
Second.
And that was for 20 minutes from,
Why don't you make it 30?
let's make it 30 minutes, 2:33 to 3:03. My motion, Commissioner Dalkey second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 3:03.
And I can turn my head to it.
Okay.
This
You
conference
saw
will
talking
now
and
be
he just,
recorded.
look at the guy. What you should look at the person I talked to.
She's not up yet.
She said it.
Oh,
Yeah, everything's on.
Yeah, no, you have to keep it.
That's what
All right. We're out of executive session. No decisions made. Let's move into another executive session. This one on contract negotiations for 30 minutes?
I think that should be enough.
Okay. Or do you want to make a motion before we go? We'll do it after.
May all tie together.
All right, that's a good one. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad, Tina, for 30 minutes from 3:05 to 3:35.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 3:05.
I know you can.
Strike it for now. It'll still give us enough authority.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session, no decisions made.
I make a motion to move to authorize the chair to execute necessary documents relating to current litigation involving Marion County.
I would second that.
We have a motion from Commissioner Garing, second by Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. All right, I think we have one more executive session on the department head reviews, and then we will be ready to call it a day. So I would move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 7543-19B. For personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission, we'll have Tina for a little bit.
Brad for a little bit.
And Brad for a little bit. I think 30 minutes. I've been going long. Let's go 30 minutes. So it's 3:36 to 4:06.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carried. We will be back at 4:06 for adjournment.
Okay, we're here.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. We're gonna do one more, I lied. We're gonna do one more session for 10 minutes. Get out of here at 4:15. No, 4:20. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss department head evaluations pursuant to KSA 7543-19B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with just the commission for 10 minutes from 4:10 to 4:20. Second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 4:20, hopefully adjourned this time.
Starting over
This
again.
conference will now be recorded.
I forgot about that.
We are out of executive session.
You talked
No
to Joe
decisions made.
McPherson.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'd make a,
Motion by Commissioner Dalkey, second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.
How did I win that?
Whew.
I wanted to put your phone out.
Oh,